Hello everybody, welcome to Grand Final Day. Yes, I am nervous as hell, but I am excited for a massive game. Sydney versus Brisbane, of course. Wherever you're joining me around the country, the planet as well. I've seen a few people international. Glad to see you have joined me. If you do want to watch the game, I will not be broadcasting it, of course. I don't want to get the channel banned. If you want to watch it and you are in Australia, it is on 7+. If you just download that app on your phone or on your TV or whatever, if you just log in, it's in the chat as well, as you can see on the pinned comment. If you want to watch the game 7+, all you have to do is just click at the link. It's just go onto the 7+ app and you can watch it there. I'll be commentating the game, of course. This is probably more for international people, but if you want to watch it that way, that's the only way you can do it for free in Australia. It won't be broadcast on KO, I don't believe, so that if people are wondering, I don't believe it is. It's only on 7+. So international, I think there is a way you can do it, but you do have to pay for it. I'm not too sure exactly how. I'm sure there's a way to do it somewhere. But yeah, that's basically the way the stream's going to be going, guys. They're currently doing the pre-match talk, or whatever presentation would be the way to call it. So, massive crowd at the MCG, as you would expect. Hey from Geelong, how you doing, Joseph? So I don't really know how much of a commentating you're going to get from me, especially how close, if the game gets close or whatever, but we will see. So let me know in the chat who you guys think is going to win today, of course. So yeah, like I said, if anyone is wondering, the game is in Australia is on 7+. Why do I have to welcome my own country? Just cause. I saw that comment last night, Freddie. That was very funny. How you doing, Hookstagram? First time here. Oh, glad you're here, man. So yeah, everything's all good to go. I think we're all good. Cool. So I see a few people have already put the votes in the poll. 11 votes. A lot of them are going Sydney. I think it's going to be a very good game of footy. Collingwood Premiership Twilight on night grand final in 2025. I don't really like the idea of a night grand final, to be honest with you. I prefer, if they do change it, push it to like 3:30, 4 p.m. Just so then people can enjoy their night. Tipping Sydney by 21. Here we go. The Australian National Anthem's about to play. So we're very close now, guys. Oh, the nerves are kicking in. Looks better on prime time. Yeah, I don't know. I just like the idea of people being able to go and do what they want to do, like after the game as well, with the celebrations. But that's just me. So I'll let you know out of 10 how good the Australian Anthem's been sung, guys. So I'll let you know. Cody Simpson's actually pretty good. I never really know much about his swimming career that he had, but he's a pretty good singer. I didn't mind that. They did add a little bit to the end of it, but I didn't mind that. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. They always want to change things. Why not have 10 guys on the bench then? Yeah, I don't know. I think they should just move to 5 on the bench, no sub. But for people who are wondering, subs today, Braden Campbell for the Sydney Swans, Connor McDonald for the Brisbane Lions. I thought that was very well done, to be honest. So Maybe let me know in the chat as well, guys, who you think first goal scorer is going to be in the grand final. The state of origin, basically. The first time since 1899 the Lions and the Swans have played in a grand final. Basically not, let's be honest. It was Fitzroy and South Melbourne back then. Sydney Swans up against Brisbane, just going through their final paces now. So Robbie Fox is in the team for Sydney. So I'm actually not surprised by that. If you did watch the tips this week, I did say that Robbie Fox would be playing in the team because he's going to play one of the small forwards for Brisbane. So I'm not surprised by that. So players starting to move into their position. Players starting to move into the middle now to do the coin toss. You know, like Rosie Rules is going. I honestly think it's been a good season. So Harris Andrews gets the coin toss call, and he is called to the left-hand side of your screen. So here we go. Captains are going back to their groups. Obviously, Dane Rampy, interim captain today. Callum Mills, obviously the heartbreaking story for the Sydney Swans. Oscar McInerney for the Brisbane Lions is the heartbreaker for the Brisbane Lions. But Darcy Fort, obviously a great story. He is in for his, I think, third game of the year. Such an important game for him. Brodie Grundy as well. A lot of talk about Joe Danaher during the week. Could be his final game. Dane Rampy getting his final words off. Obviously, he's been in 3 heartbreaking grand finals. Would love to beat that today. Logan McDonald, bit of talk about him over the week, about his ankle. He's all good to go. He's lined up. Crowd starting to rise. Players starting to move in their positions. Here we go. So these two teams, of course, the last 2 losers of grand finals. Such a big contest. So we'll see a couple of matchups. Sydney players getting into the Lions players pretty early. Papley, as you would expect. Perfect weather indeed. Just over 20 degrees today. So it looks like Luke Parker trying to get Harris Andrews maybe. But here we go. Stage is set. The 2024 AFL Grand Final. Sydney Swans, Brisbane Lions. Here we go. Bounce down. So the first tap won by Grundy. Did it well. Came off the foot of Heaney. Ricocheted forward. Neal out the back. Did it well to Starskovich. The Darcy Fort with his first touch. Kicks it forward. And the one-on-one. Good mark from Blakey. So Blakey takes in the middle of the MCG. And off he goes. A low dart towards centre half forward. Low. Good mark from Starskovich in front. So Starskovich takes the mark. Centre half back. Such an important game for him today. Works it short. To Fletcher, and he goes wide with the kick. A bit of a mongrel. Gets a nice bounce to Harris Andrews. Back to Archie. So important. Low ball down the wing. Did well there. Melican down low. Brought it to ground. Now Goulden works it through the middle. And off he goes. Warner back to Goulden. A little studded kick. Did well Lester there with the tackle. Now with the turnover. Ashcroft. Bit of a fumble from Hipwood. Works the handball out the back. Archie. Off to Ainsworth. Short little kick. And now the Lions can go. Short little option inside to Fletcher. Gives it back out wide to Ashcroft. And now the Lions can work this up. McCluggage can go long with the kick. Has a few options. Low inside the forward. 50 for Cameron. Good play from Cunningham. Didn't take the grab. Neal snaps on goal. He kicks it. It's through. Umpire's blown the whistle though. So it is coming back to Cameron. So it's a free kick for Charlie Cameron. So, I don't think the mark was called, was it? I think it was a free kick against Cunningham for a chop of the arms. Because it wasn't a mark. I think it is a chop of the arms against Cunningham. Nonetheless, the free kick has been called back here for Charlie Cameron. He will have the first shot of the 2024 Grand Final. Had some real important moments last year for Brisbane. Just couldn't get his team over the line in the end. Lines up. Weight of his shoulders is massive. The stage is set for Charlie Cameron. He comes in and he's missed to the right-hand side. So first score of the grand final is a minor score for the Lions. So Ollie Florent to take the kick in here for Sydney. Wants to go on the outside. Wide looking ball, 3-on-3 here, Fort going back, no one got a touch onto it, and off the Swans go. Heaney on the wing, drives it long towards Haywood. Leicester, great grab. Not the best kick there from Heaney. Leicester got back. So he works it inside to Berry, and he wants to go on the members' wing. Wide looking kick, McCluggage takes the grab. So just working it up slowly here, Papley, on with the pressure. He goes with a little stutter step. The kick inside is a nice option to Lachie Neale. He works it out wide to Berry. The line's trying to work it through hands. McCluggage couldn't pick it up. Did well there, Jordan. Heaney, long handball. Better get shut down, was Warner by Cameron. Tough game of footy. Ball locked up. Ball up. Lions have started well. So back in the ruck once again. Grundy was held. He'll get the free kick. So Darcy Fort. Just got to settle the nerves a little. Grundy works the kick out wide. Nice looking ball. Good mark from Jordan. Looks like he's manned up against Zorko today. Massive role for Jordan. Grew up as a Sydney Swans fan. Obviously was a sub in the 2021 grand final for the Melbourne Football Club. Has moved to Sydney and such an important role for him. But now Rampy drives it long. Looking for McDonald. Spoiled down by Wilmot. Did it well. Neale. Handballs through to Andrews, working it back to Leicester. Great smother from Rowbottom. Locks it inside. Dunkley got the kick away, and he's going to get a free kick here, Josh Dunkley. It's going to bring it back to the back pocket. So Brisbane standing up to a few early forward pressure moments from the Swans. So now Dunkley goes long with the kick. Rampy sets himself, got a fist onto it, and it runs out of bounds. So umpire throws it back into play. Fort takes the front spot. Grundy wins the tap to himself. Feign the give, then kicks it long when it's going to go out on the full. So a free kick. So Brisbane will get the free kick here at halfback through Dane Zorko. So first touch for him in the 2024 grand final. Goes long with the kick for Dunkley. Good grab. And he wants to go. Gives it off to Berry. A low ball down the wing. Got enough on it. It does for Hipwood. So Hipwood about 75 out from the Brisbane goal. He sets himself to go long. It's a dangerous looking ball for Danaher. So Joey Danaher leads up, takes the grab. Can he get the first goal on the board? Sydney just didn't have the numbers back there. Danaher had a huge amount of space in front of him, led up nicely. And a chance here for Joe. So Danaher, surprisingly enough, does live in Sydney. Plays for the Brisbane Lions. He comes in now and he's hooked it to the right-hand side. So a couple of early misses here for Brisbane. So Nick Blakey will take the kick in here for the Swans. So he goes members wing here, Blakey. Good play there from Fox. Handball forward. And off goes the Chad. Takes his second bounce. Sees his options up forward. Just blasted away. And Harris Andrews all on his own. Sydney just need to be careful when going long here. Don't have to blaze away. So now Andrews wants to go with a switching ball. Finds Jasper Fletcher. Such an important game for him today. He goes long. Blakey getting back there with Archie. Blakey did well to bring it to ground, but McCluggage picks it up nicely. Takes a bounce. Cunningham chases him. Did it well. Got a handle at the back. Terrible bounce for Archie. Great pressure from the Swans. Florent on the counter. Low ball towards Jordan in a one-on-one. Zorko did well, but Jordan broke away. Back gets shut down by Cameron. Great pressure from the Lions. And Cameron gets the free kick. Jordan did okay, but great pressure from Brisbane just to keep on going. Zorko's short ball. Hits up McCluggage. McCluggage wants to go inside towards Wilmot. It's a good kick. Brisbane has a lot of touches early, just haven't put it on the scoreboard just yet. Short ball. Hits up Berry. Wants to give it back to Wilmot. He'll run all day. He takes a bounce. Sees the opponent running towards him. Terrible kick though. Turned it over here to Lloyd. Sydney just need to settle down a little bit. Rampy. Short little ball. Hits up McDonald. So much talk about him this week. Has got up for the grand final though. Was obviously heartbreaking in 2022, was dropped for the grand final. To be honest, though, probably didn't miss a lot. So short ball here to Rowbottom. So Rowbottom's just going to have to go long with the kick. In front, Amati couldn't mark. Went to ground was Lloyd. Good pick up from Ainsworth. Wrapped up by two Swans. Good pressure, locked it up. Right in front of the MCC members. So Dunkley up against Heaney. What a matchup that's going to be. Rowbottom took the footy, let the ball go in the end. Out towards Ashcroft. Handball at the back. Neil did it pretty well. Ainsworth broke one tackle. Did nicely. Went back in. Long kick down the wing. Rampy brought it to ground. Rayner goes in hard with Lloyd. Locks it in again. So at the moment, Brisbane just trying to get on the outside. The Swans trying to get it out as well. So it looks like Parker going on Andrews early. He's had a good start though. Danaher up against McLean. Danaher went to go in the kick and left the ball behind. Rowbottom got a high one. So Berry gives away the free. So Rowbottom forward side of the wing. So they've gone along every kick so far, Sydney. That's where he's going to go now. McDonald's there, gets across, couldn't mark there McLean. Parker, handball at the back. Shut down was Jordan. Threw it out, play on. Zorko, dribbling ball down the wing. Did well there, Rampy. Just pushes opponent away. Rampy drives it long towards Andrews and McDonald. Andrews did well. Out of bounds inside the Swans forward 50. So Sydney, 6 inside 50 to 2. So far, they just haven't really used it properly. Just have to settle into this game. Obviously, a few nerves for both teams. Throws it back in. Danaher up against McLean in the ruck. Danaher with the tap down. Slapped away there from Zorko. Good smother from Rowbottom. Went towards goal and just blasted on his boot. Kicks it through for a behind. So first score of the grand final for Sydney. So Zorko takes the kick in now. Goes with the wide-looking ball. Lester marks it well. He's looking in ball, but he's going to get shut down by Gordon, played on, and Sydney will get the free kick. Great play there from Errol. Heard the call from the umpire. Good tackle. So Gordon. It's been long and high. He goes with a low dart towards the pocket for Amati. Got tunnelled a little. He did. Will Hayward takes the advantage. Snaps it towards goal, and the Swans have the first. Come on. Oh, the one thing you will know if you have KO is fucking hell. The adverts are going to be annoying today. So he's just unlucky there, Zorko. He had Amati as the marking option. Couldn't do much about it. But then Will Hayward took the advantage. Did kick the Swans' first goal of the grand final against Geelong in 2022. But he gets the first goal for Sydney and the first goal of 2024 grand final. So back in the ruck we go. Danaher up against Grundy, and it'll be recalled. So Danaher already into the ruck here for Brisbane, sorry. So it's a tense start to this game. Grundy tried to tap it out the back. Oh, it met hard. And now it ricochets off to Warner. He takes a bounce from 60. Drills it low. Couldn't mark it. Off the ricochet, McLean. Great give to Tommy Papley, who snaps it towards goal. He'll hold the line. It's there. Swans have two. So great play there from the Swans. Got a bit of lucky there. Both Dunkley and Rayner wanted the footy. They just collided into each other. Ricocheted to Warner, and then the Swans did the work up forward. Great finish from Tommy Papley. So the two smalls for the Swans with the first two goals. So back in the middle we go. Grundy with the tap down. Went through the legs of Heaney. Neal gives it off to McCluggage. And now Fletcher on the outside. Goes long with the kick. Inside the forward 50. McCartan coming across. Couldn't mark Melican. Handball out. Finds Blakey. And he wants to clear. Wide ball on the bounce. Gets there first was Fox. Tapped it over his top. And did it well. Heaney streaming off the wing. Wilmot about to shut him down. Got the kick away. And good play there from Wilmot. Caused the turnover. And Andrews takes it at half back. Great chase there from Darcy Wilmot. So Andrews works it wide. Short to Ainsworth. First grand final. He obviously didn't play last year. So Ainsworth on the wing. Goes long towards a pack of players. Melican was there, so was Hipwood. Brought to ground Neal. Went to the turf for the moment, but got up nicely. Gave it off to Fletcher. He'll drive it long. Sydney have the numbers here. They do it pretty well though. Brisbane on the ground. Lohman dribbling ball. Great pressure from the Swans. Rolled it out of bounds. That looks dangerous signs there for Kyle Lohman. Just couldn't get enough space to get it towards goal. So Danaher's going to take the ruck roll here. Can Danaher get to work here? He's up against Grundy. Grundy took it out of the ruck. Got a handball away. Then the tap over to himself. Did it nicely. And now the Swans streaming away through Goulden. He thumps it long down the wing. On the bounce. Andrews up against McLean. Who's going to get there first? Got a dreadful bounce there. Was Andrews. Parker picked it up well. Good tackle from Payne. Dribbling forward. Andrews taps it towards Leicester. And then the Lions can make it work. Leicester wide looking kick. Great work from Fox in the team. Low ball. Got it smothered. Hayward picked it up. Snapped it forward. One-on-one is Starskovich, and he takes the grab. So Brendan Starskovich takes the mark. Such an important player. What a couple of games he's had the last few weeks. Toby Green was brilliant. Last week was instrumental against Tyson Stengel. So Lions here have it at half-back. Bailey works it short to Dunkley. Back to Andrews. So the Lions just not moving forward at the moment, just trying to keep control of the footy. Leicester, short little ball, hits up Bailey. Still inside the defensive 50 here. Now they look through the middle. McCluggage. Sydney trying to congest the corridor here, but there's a little bit of space out the back, and it's a great looking ball for Leicester. He can work it inside the forward 50. Lions have numbers absolutely everywhere, and Cal Archie takes the mark. He works it short and finds Kyle Lohman. Sydney didn't have any numbers back there. As soon as the Lions pierced through the middle, they were everywhere and out. Sydney had it really congested through the front side of the centre square, but as soon as it got out through the back, Lions are out. And Kyle Lohman now, opportunity to kick the Lions first. Just to settle a few nerves here. 25 metres out, not much of an angle. Kyle Lohman comes in and he kicks Brisbane's first. So back in the middle we go. Fort with the tap and the clearance. Did it well there, Fort. Drives it long. Gets out the back. Danaher. Little tap towards Archie. McCartan did okay. Hipwood out the back towards Lohman. He can get on his left boot. He can drill it towards goal. Brisbane 2 in quickly. And they've got back in front for the first time. Bit too easy there for the Brisbane Lions. They did it well though. Great play there from Darcy Fort. Oh, great. Now 7 plus is just going to start to shit itself. Did well there, Kyle Loman. He's kicked 2. Such a danger man for them today. Tap down from Fort. Couldn't grab it cleanly there. Ashcroft coming through there was Bailey. Couldn't grab it. Did well Rowbottom. Underground handball. And the Swans can get the ball forward. 1-on-1 here is Papley. Starcevic couldn't mark. Amati tried to get the handball to Papley. Missed him. Neil, great pickup. And off he goes. Handball to Ashcroft. Darcy Fort looking for the 1-2. Ashcroft over the top. The link up is brilliant from the Lions. Bailey. Handball over the top towards Cameron, who gets on the move. Works it forward. Mongrel punt. Roberts couldn't grab it cleanly. Now Morris. Did well there, Roberts, just to lock him up. And it'll be a ball up inside the forward 50. The link up from Brisbane has really got the Swans on the back foot. Danaher takes it out of the ruck on the right boot. Doesn't use that one very often. Goes across the face. And it will run out of bounds. So they'll get a throw in here. About 30 metres out from the Brisbane goal. Throws it back into play. Danaher did well. Step past one, the handball. That was almost a throw, and the umpire did call it eventually. Good play there from Jake Lloyd. So Lloyd works it short, finds McInerney. So McInerney played on. No one really heard it. Just works it laterally. And he finds Lloyd again. So now the Swans can go through the middle here. You have to be careful here, Warner. Had to backtrack. Did okay against Hipwood. Just a little bit too nimble. Works the kick out wide for Melican. Great hands. Had Loman right on him, but he took that well there, Melican. So 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. Melican works the kick short. Do it well. McInerney. Little short dart. Hits up. Jordan, just outside the forward 50 here. Where's he going to go? So Jordan just works it short. Finds Lloyd again. This is his third touch in the chain. Just outside 50 here, Jake Lloyd. Wouldn't have the distance, I wouldn't imagine. So now Lloyd sets it up to the top of the goal square. Who's going to fly? It was Andrews. No one could mark though. And then Luke Parker somehow kicked it across the face. I don't know how he did that, but he's kicked it on the full. So Fletcher will take it here in the back pocket here for the Lions. So Fletcher goes long. Wide ball. Matt Carton gets there. Good fist onto it. Fist it back inside the forward 50. Who will get there first? Zorko took it well. Back to Starcevic. He goes wide with the kick. Looking for McCluggage. Did it okay in the end to find Morris. And then the nice little low ball hits up Hipwood. He handballs inside to Archie, who kept on running. Low ball towards 50. Cameron should have marked it, dropped the sitter. And now fisted away. Cunningham did it well. McCartan off to Roberts, and he thumps it forward. 1-on-1 is Amati. Went out the back, though. Ainsworth tracks it. He gets there first, has a lot of time to work with. Goes with a wide kick. Still inbounds, though. Standing underneath. A good mark there from Morris. A minute behind, am I? I don't know how to get it any quicker. So he goes long with the kick towards a 1-on-1. Archie will get the mark. He plays on, calls for players to lead up. He drives it inside the forward 50 for Danaher. Up against Lloyd. Take that every time. So Danaher goes around the body, snaps it on goal, and hooked it too severely for a behind. So he goes short to Roberts. Roberts just back inside here to Blakey, and off he goes. He wants to drive it down the wing. It's an absolute mongrel. Don't know who's going to get there first. It's Zorko. Handball at the back to Fort. Through nicely to Wilmot. And he got shut down by Jordan. Did it well. Warner can break through the middle. Amati gives it off to Jordan. He's got a few options inside the forward 50. Dreadful looking kick though. Andrews up against Parker. And then Andrews just going to sit on top of it. It'll be a ball up. Gets it up. Fort threw that out. McLean couldn't get it away. Fort tried to spike it away. And now Rowbottom tackled. Ball spills out. Wilmot, Ashcroft link up nice here from the Lions. McCluggage, wide looking ball, finds Danaher on the lead. He'll want to work back inside. The kick over the top towards Archie. Blakey had to body line it. Did it well. Got a high one. Not called by the umpire. And McCluggage drives it through. That's fucking shit from the umpire. Blakey got fucking square hit in the head. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, I don't know why 7 Plus has been a piece of shit today. So Danaher with the clearance here towards the forward 50. Archie drops the sitter and off goes Blakey. Takes a bounce. He could take a second. He just decides to kick it short. Not a very good kick though. Sydney have to work that out at quarter time. Wilmot wants to switch it here to Bailey. So at halfback, Zach Bailey has the footy. Goes with a wide-looking kick. Has to cut back here. Took the mark well there, Dunkley. Short little kick over the top. Hits up Cam Rayner. So now Rayner drives it long. Got a bit of a run up at it there, Morris, but Blakey cuts in front. So Blakey drives it long, looking for Grundy in the one-on-one up against Dunkley. Dunkley did okay. Grundy dives back in, got the handball out to Heaney, and now over the top to Goulden. Has the whole MCG wing to himself. He cuts it back inside. What a brilliant kick. Finds McLean. So McLean just back inside here to Florent. They want to go switch the play of the Swans. Wide kick here to Rampy, and they go with the full switch across. He hits up Robbie Fox. So Fox just slow and steady here to Cunningham. So Robbie Fox, just short ball, hits up McInerney. And now McInerney in short, good kick, finds Rowbottom. So great work there from McInerney, and James Rowbottom will have the kick. So James Rowbottom, such an important player for his team. Probably doesn't get the accolades that the others do, but so important. Rowbottom drives it long. The wind's going to bring that back, and Rowbottom drives it through. I don't know why it's on a 15-second delay. It's fucking annoying. So back in the middle we go. Grundy tried to take it out of the ruck, spills to Rowbottom, bit of a fumble from both of them. Now Lohman, back to Neil, gives it further back to Berry. He tries to work through the traffic, did it really well. Out to Wilmot, he'll kick it long. High ball, one-on-ones everywhere. Melican did really well. Great mark, kept his composure, took a good mark. So now to Roberts. Has a huge amount of space. He goes in short. Finds Haywood. He gives it back to Roberts. He'll want to go for a bit of a run. Now Bailey's tracking him. Roberts will thump it long towards Papley. Free kick's been called. Harris Andrews will get the free kick. Your commentary's pretty good. Thank you, man. Danaher inside. So he wants to switch it to Berry. It's a dangerous looking kick. It's a good mark. Berry's probably wondering why that wasn't 50 when it was last year. Works the kick back inside to Ashcroft. Just inside the centre square. Ashcroft wants to go back out towards the wing. Finds Lockie Neal. He's had a good start. Neal in short. They work this up nicely here, the Lions. Short little kick over the top. It's a dangerous ball for Rayner, but he played on, did well. Gave it off to Berry. Has a huge amount of options. Goes towards the pocket, and Charlie's there. 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Cameron has the footy. So 21 seconds left in the first quarter. Charlie Cameron, opportunity to give Lions an 8-point lead. He goes around the body. Charlie Cameron, that's a bit of bread and butter stuff. Great finish to the first quarter here for the Lions. So I'll try and figure out how to fucking get this thing to get pretty well alive in the quarter time, because this is just annoying me. So with 7 seconds left in this first quarter. Can someone get a quick clearance here? Bounce down. High will go to Grundy. Heaney takes the advantage and drives it long. It's a low ball marked by Starskovic. And there'll be the quarter time siren. So after Sydney kicked the first two, the Lions responded and they lead it at quarter time. Set up for a massive contest. At quarter times, Brisbane led it by 8 points. 4-3-27 to the Sydney Swans, 3-1-19. Alrighty, let's try and figure this fucking out. I think it's probably going to be better on my phone, to be honest with you. We shouldn't complain. It's live and free, apparently. Yeah, I think we have a right to complain when every single fucking second is filled up with ads that are just crap anyway. I think the one that I've currently got open is actually the quickest one. I should have probably left that open, to be honest with you. Premium's great content. Shut up. Just trying to see which one's in front, because that's the closest we're going to get, I think. Because it's not on KO, I don't think, is it, guys? I'm assuming KO's just got like a live score or something. Yeah, KO literally has nothing. I think that changes next year, doesn't it, with the thingy agreement? Am I right about that or not? How long have you been into footy? Oh, basically all my life, man. Yeah, replaying 4 hours. Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just had a quick check. It was a good first quarter, yeah. Well, yeah. Fucking hell, dude. Go away. I don't care about MKR. Fuck off, man. I'm surprised that show is still going, to be honest with you. The show sucks. Deal with it, Channel 7. It sucks. Yeah, man, I'm a Sydney Swans supporter. So players are starting to move back into their position now as well. Yeah, I'm surprised Sydney didn't play, because Robbie Fox is in the team today. Braden Campbell and Connor McKenna are the subs, for anyone wondering. I'm surprised Robbie Fox hasn't gone to Kyle Oman. Yeah, Sydney needed to slow down their Brisbane kick mark game. Another cooking competition original, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it, to be honest with you. So second quarter about to get underway. Brisbane Lions lead it by 8 points. Swans kicked the first couple. The Lions responded pretty quickly. But back we go again. Fought with the tap towards Dunkley. It spills out towards Neil. Good pressure from Rowbottom. Tried to soccer it forward. There was Wilmot. In and under. Dove on that one there a little bit. Dug it out there. Wilmot did well. And another ball up. So Rowbottom just a little bit worse for wear after that contact. He'll just shake that one off though. Tap down. Grundy tries to spike it forward. Slapped on nicely. Warner keeps it in front of him. Then went to ground. Ducked out of a tackle. And then thumps it forward. But dangerous ball. Gets a weird bounce there. Payne. Slapped it down and it's out of bounds. Good play there from the Swans. They lock it in. So Chad Warner, of course. Oh, that's what happened to Rowbottom. I didn't really realise he got the ball kicked into his face. He hit the scone. So Heaney, no play on. Rowbottom coming through hard, trying to track the footy. Jordan trying to get it out of there with Fort. Did well. Grundy handballed oddly. And now Starskovich with a clearing ball. Was pushed out of it a little bit there, Blake. He got a nice bounce there, McCartan. Florence got the handball away out the back. Melican, great play to step through the traffic and then thumps it long. One-on-one. Parker, good spoil from Andrews. Brought it to ground brilliantly. But then Fox took the ball nicely. Out to Chad from 50. Drives it long. Hooks it across the face. First score of the second turn to the Swans. Oh, great. Now the fucking OBS has cracked itself. Oh, we're on fire today, boys. So it goes long down the wing. I can't change the scoreboard for now, guys. Swans work it forward now. Thumped inside the Swans forward, 50. One-on-one. Lions have the numbers getting back through Bailey. He did it well. Has a lot of time. Wide kick and just keeps it in bounds for Lohman. Oh, come on, man. OBS is just going to crap itself. The inside kick there to Ashcroft and gave away the free kick there was Haywood. So Ashcroft looks inboard, but just going to go backwards here to Harris Andrews. So Andrews in short to Zorko. And now Zorko wants to go. He goes really wide. Great kick in the end. Hits up Leicester. Why has OBS crapped itself? Awesome. Towards Zorko. Good kick there to Starskovic. So about 75 out. He's got a player outside the forward 50. He wants to go longer than that towards the pocket. Up went Danaher. Melican in front. Ball spills down. Morris out the back to Fletcher. Snapping it towards goal. Blakey on the last line. Oh, come on, man. What the fuck is going on with OBS? I can't shut it down, bro. I may have to. Long ball here. Fox against Leicester in a one-on-one. Leicester trying to get it out of there. Pushed in there was Lloyd by Zorko. Lloyd trying to fish it out. Did it well in the end. Melican to Grundy. Over the top to Fox. And now Fox can go. Lightning speed. Sends it long for Papley. Almost marked it. Landed like a cat. Off the ground by Parker. Got a bad bounce there, Hayward. Tracked it well, though. Snapped it on goal. And then last line was Neil. He did it well there, Lockie Neal, to get back. He knew that was going to get stopped. Over the top, and now Fort has a lot of space. A low ball. Did okay there. Is YouTube running, by the way? Looks like it's still working. He goes inside, and it's a wide kick there from Cameron out of bounds on the full. What the fuck is happening here? I don't even know if it's still running. Is it still running the stream?
Broad spectrum.
So Lloyd has it now.
Spectrum probiotic. New from Inner Health.
If anyone's watching the stream, can you let me know what's the hell is going on at the moment? You're still live? Yeah, I thought so. I just don't know why I'm not being able to see anything. So now Grundy thumps it just towards the forward 50. Amati is there. One hand to it. Landed to the ground. Row bottom to Amati. Trying to get the handball at the back. Try to soccer it forward there was Leicester. And now Heaney did well to Hayward. Great pressure from the Lions. Swans trying to work it out though. And now Row bottom getting the kick towards the forward 50. Zorko got crunched. Great pressure from the Swans. Payne got the clearing ball, though, into the middle of the ground. Running back with it was Grundy. Got a dreadful bounce, but then it may work out. Over the top, Rayner. Great pressure, but now Florent got it forward. Numbers with the Lions here. Starskovic should get there first, and then eventually he will. He has a lot of options inside. Works to Neil. So I think it's okay. I don't know why it's okay. So now Neil wants to go. So Bailey over the top to Lohman. Inside the forward 50. Has a lot of options, but says, I'll do it myself. He's got 3 goals in the first quarter and a bit. Alright, I think that's better now. I can't close it because I'll fucking delete the stream. So just leave it like that. It's fine. I think it's all good now. Now the score's not updating. I may have to fucking fuck this up here. So back in the middle we go. From Golden, row bottom, trying to get the handball out to McInerney. Free kick's been called. We'll go to the Swans. There we go. I think it's fixed now. Goes inside. Good kick there to Fox just outside the forward 50. And Zorko's given away 50. He ran over the mark. And now the Swans can get the quick response through Robbie Fox. So Robbie Fox to get the quick response here for the Swans. He comes in straight in front and kicks the goal. First goal of the second quarter for Sydney. I'd like to see that again if he actually did go over the mark or not. But of course we can't see it because guess what? We're watching this on 7+, which means we have to get a bunch of stupid ads that suck. There we go. All right, I think we've got it all sorted now, guys. Fucking stupid YouTube. Sorry, I wasn't even YouTube, it was OBS, but there we go, we got it sorted now. So back in the ruck, Fort won it down, got a nice bounce, was Dunkley. He thumps it towards the forward 50, going back was Rampy, got a fist to it. Now Roberts, handball at the back to McCartan. He got pushed as he kicked it. Is it going to go out of bounds? Stayed in, got a nice bounce in the end, and eventually will get out of bounds. So back in the ruck we go. Fort with the tap. He's done well so far. Haney socketed it out of midair. It wasn't the 15 to Berry, so he just thumps it on the boot towards the forward 50. Melican should have marked it, dropped it, and now Archie gives it off to Epwood. He snaps it towards goal. Got a dreadful connection, and it's out of... it actually bounces back into play for McCartan, and now Danaher tackled and saved a certain goal, maybe. It's a behind. Well, a bit of chaos, but in the end it will be a behind to the Lions. So it's a behind to the Lions. Bit of chaos. That bounce was dreadful to McCartan. And then Danaher nearly ran into an open goal. It was a good tackle. I think it was Roberts in the end who saved a certain goal. And it's 8 points the difference. So Matt Roberts to take the kick in. Been such an important player for the Swans this year. He goes long. Members wing. Towards the one-on-one in Andrews. Going back with the flight. Neither could mark. Ball hits the ground. Parker dove on it. He's in trouble. He'll be pinned here. No, umpire calls for a ball up. That was surprising. Thought that was holding the ball against Parker then. So it looks like Robbie Fox actually gone straight to Zorko here in the second term. Tap down. Couldn't get it out there to Goulden. Neal tracks it. Couldn't grab it cleanly. But now Ashcroft is away. He can send it inside the forward 50. Kicked it off the line nicely. And going there, mate, mark from Morris. So a couple of the younger Brisbane Lions really dangerous up forward so far. Kai Lohman obviously got the 3 goals, and then Logan Morris, great mark. So an opportunity here for the Lions to get their second goal of the quarter and blow it back out to a 14-point lead. Morris comes in. Kicks on goal, and it's just going to blow away with the wind. So 9 points to the margin. Lloyd has the footy here at halfback. He goes long with it. Lions have the numbers here. Ainsworth takes the grab. So Ainsworth works it wide to Fletcher. Sydney just can't exit properly at the moment. He goes back to Leicester. So 12 minutes still to go on this second term. Leicester wants to go long with it. High ball. Who's going to get there? Danaher's there. So is Darcy Fort! Well, he marked it well, and something that some people may have forgotten is Darcy Fort is a brilliant set shot kick at goal. Huge round of applause around the ground. Of course, came in for Oscar McInerney. They're doing it for him today. So Darcy Fort now. What a dream inclusion to come into the grand final. He'll kick just on 50. He winds up the big guy. It's low. And didn't really get the best connection. Hooks it to the left. So Blakey, outside the forward defensive 50, finds Heaney. Needs to work himself into this game. Isaac Heaney. Short kick was dreadful. Cut off by Morris. He's got a few options. And who else but Kyle Oman? Well, he's kicked 3 in the first quarter and a bit. And Kyle Oman making the grand final stage his own. Yeah, I agree at the moment. Brisbane look way more dangerous up forward. So Kyle Lohman to get them out to a game-high 16-point lead. The slow approach. He comes in. He's kicked it very, very high. And it's just fisted through for a behind. So 11 points. Long kick. Did well there, Amati, to cause a contest. Brought it to ground. Parker pushed in the back. Fair square in the fucking back, you blind fuck. Dumbass. So Brisbane have it here at half-back through Payne. Short to Andrews. Fuck, man. So Andrews kicks it inside. It's a great kick in the end. Hits up Payne again. And they work it up nicely here to Rayner. So Rayner now. High ball towards the 50. Grundy went up too early. Lohman takes the mark. Play on. In fact, the umpire says Lohman slung to the turf. Great pressure from the Swans. Grundy was tackled on the handball. McCluggage did well. Answorth off to Cameron. The inside kick. Brilliant. So Danaher takes the grab. Brisbane. Been a pressure cooker at the moment. Their pressure's been immense. Shadow Danaher comes in. Opportunity to give the Lions a 17-point lead. Looks pretty good. Straight through. If I'm at the moment, Sydney, I think the midfield's getting a bit beaten up. I'd almost chuck Luke Parker in there, chuck Heaney forward because he can't get himself into the game and get some changes going because right now, they lead by 17 Brisbane. They should be up by more as well. So 17 points the margin. Thumped down by the umpire. Grundy up against Danaher in the ruck. Danaher did it well and then thumps it forward in front of Archie. Fucking hell. Grundy's got a lift right now. He's getting beaten up by Danaher there. And Fort's actually done pretty nicely against him too. So 8 minutes to go in this second term. Cal Archie, a chance here to get the Brisbane Lions another one. Be 7 out of the last 9, I believe. So Cal Archie's had a really good start to this game. Already 6 score involvements in a half. He goes long. Is it going to cut back? You know what? It has! Well, it's about time Sydney rings some changes in or this game's going to slip away real quick. So back in the ruck we go. Grundy with the tap. McInerney gets the handball away to Rowbottom. Dropped it though. Trying to fish it out there was McCluggage did it well. Neil over the top to Ashcroft. Handball to Lohman. Didn't really look at it. He did well to get back onto it though. Ashcroft bodyline it, then looking for the high one. And he'll get the free kick. So Ashcroft here just outside the forward 50. So now Ashcroft, just inside the centre square with the kick, just kicks the ball short towards Sloman, couldn't mark. Grundy got the handball away. Now to Cameron, trying to get away. Great pressure there from the Swans. Papley with the clearing ball. Lions are set up nicely and marked well by Payne. So now to Berry. Over the top now to Danaher. So Danaher's going to wind up. He's going to send it long. A good 60-metre ball towards the forward 50. Rayner went up early. Didn't get hands to it. Now Bailey backed out of the traffic. Went to ground. Rayner breaks through. 2, 3, 4 tackles. Snaps it on goal across the face. And out of bounds on the full. Sends it long. In front is Ainsworth. Did well there. Hayward to bring it to ground. Good handball. They work it nicely here, the Lions. And now Ashcroft from 50. Has he got the distance? He doesn't. Cameron went up early. Free kick. And it's going to go to Lewis Melican. Sydney under siege at the moment. So Lewis Melican here. Again, just has to go high and long and hope. Looking for McDonald and Grundy. Good mark from Grundy. He's lowered his colours in the first quarter in a bit. He needs to lift. Sends it high again. Numbers with the Lions. Good mark from Starskovic. So Starskovic wants to switch. A dangerous looking ball. Good pressure from Lloyd. He did it well. Handball over the top. Good play from Starskovic. Had to respond and did it well. And now the Lions can go through the middle. They can link up. Rayner goes back over the top to Ashcroft. Will he get a nice bounce? You bet he will. Did well Roberts with the pressure early. But now Ashcroft kicks it towards goal. In front, Blakey did well. Cunningham went to ground. Blakey wants to go with the clearing ball. Terrible kick. Turn it over to Berry. Rayner in some trouble here. So you'll see it here. Grundy puts on a bit of a bump there. So I think he's just a bit winded, Rayner. He'll shake that off. He'll be fine. So we just ticked in the red time in the second term. The Lions lead it by 23 points. And Jared Berry, such an important player for the Brisbane Lions. He'll kick from 50. He comes in now. He sends it towards goal. And the Lions are threatening to break the Swans' hearts. So with 4:37 on the clock, the Lions lead it by 29 points. They've blitzed them in the second term. Rayner seems okay. I think he's just popping a couple of painkillers. He'll be right to come back on. Fought with the tap. Again, they'll get the clearance here, the Lions. The Swans need to desperately lift in there. He sends it inside the forward 50. Dano couldn't mark. Spoiled to ground. Cameron got it off to Fletcher. He feigns the give. Eventually gave it over the top to Lohman. Back to Hipwood on the left boot. Shake and bake, did it well. And now tucked up in the pocket. Oh, Eric Hipwood's on fire! Oh, fuck me. Fucking hell. I'm telling you right now, I'd be putting not all of the, I wouldn't be putting all of it, obviously, but you can't blame one player. But Brodie Grundy, he's playing against a guy who's played 3 games this year and a key forward, and he's getting fucking smashed in there. Bit of a Jason Ackermanis celebration there from Eric Hipwood. Grundy with the tap. Getting there is Jordan, and it spills out, and Lockie Neal's away again. Short little ball is nice. Hits up Morris just outside the forward 50. Called back here, Blakey. So now Morris sends it towards the pocket. 1-on-1. Great mark from Archie. Well, if I'm John Longmire, I'm making that change at halftime immediately. So Cal Archie, what an important player he's been in this final series for Brisbane. To give them a 41-point lead. Cal Archie comes in, and he's kicked the goal. Well, I'm saying it's probably gone now, to be honest. This has been piss poor from Sydney in this first half, or this second quarter. The only goal the only goal they've got in this quarter was a 50-metre penalty, which was fucking contentious to say the least. Brisbane have been amazing. And Sydney have not done anything to fucking stop it. It's pathetic, really. Heaney off the row bottom. Dunkley, good tackle, gives it back to Heaney. He feigned to give to Florent and gives it off to Fox, and off he goes. Tried to tackle Ashcroft. Did what arch the back there. Fox, the kick inside 50 to McLean. Should have chucked him back earlier, Robbie Fox. He should have been on one of Loman or whoever it was, but... So Hayden McLean, of course, was the success story in the 2022 Grand Final. Came in for Logan McDonald. Had a couple of okay moments, but of course was a dreadful day for Sydney. Straight in front, 35 metres out. Hayden McLean comes in, and fuck me. So an even 40 points. Fletcher has it here at halfback. Down the wing kick there to Archie. Could someone fucking stand on the back of the Brisbane forwards, please? Would that be nice, Sydney? Jesus Christ. This has been dreadful first half from Sydney defence. The amount of kick marks the Lions have just been allocated to have is fucking dreadful. So Grundy tries to spike it forward. Good gather there from Goulden. Out towards Fox. They work it okay. Heaney, sideways handball to Roberts. Shut down with the pressure. Good play there from Dunkley. Locked up. Ball spills out and off the lines go again. Ainsworth to Neal. He runs a little bit of an arc. Has a few options. Kicks it inside towards Doe Danaher. But then Logan Morris. Well, it's been 20 years since they got beaten by Port Adelaide. It's been 1 year, of course, since they were beaten by Collingwood. Trying to fix up those mistakes quickly with an absolute blitz in this second term, the Lions. So Logan Morris, a chance here for his second goal and give the Lions a 46-point lead. He comes in and he's got it home. Fuck, this is piss poor from Sydney. This is piss poor. Like, you look at the... Like, Sydney have had... Isaac Heaney's had 12. He's had no influence on the game. Brodie Grundy's had 12. Been probably one of Sydney's worst, if I'm being honest. He's had 12 hit-outs, but has done nothing with it. Fuck me. Look at the numbers around the footy. Brisbane players everywhere. Where are the Swans ones? This is what happened against Geelong as well. The game was done by half-time. And Parker's been chucked into the middle now. So now Papley was tackled well by Zorko. 37 seconds left in the first half. So now Grundy tries to spike it forward. Did okay. Hayward to Warner. Tackled and slammed by Rayner. Brilliant tackle. Still 29 seconds left in the first half. Tap down. Ball spills. Grundy dove on top a little. Got a handball out. Dunkley did okay. Fort got a boot to it. Now Heaney and Warner fight for it. Great smother. Spills to Jordan. Trying to burrow through. Heaney picks it up. And another stoppage. In fact, it was Warner. Is it done? Oh, I'd say so. It's 46 points. Great tackle from Fort. They'll lock it in. And another clearance from Brisbane. That was a piss poor quarter from Sydney, if I'm being honest. So Cal Mills is talking to the troops right now. An add to 7+ for A. Oh no, I'm so happy. Yeah, and then you got to listen to this fucking shit ads. Fuck off, 7 AFL. All right, guys, we'll be back in about 20 minutes with the second half. Grand Final preview. The 2024 Grand Final. The fairy tale for a lot of us. The first time in, nearly 20 years that we've had two non-Victorian teams play in a Grand Final.
About time.
Sydney Swans against the Brisbane Lions. Well, state of origin as well in the AFL, of course. So... let's go to like a couple of questions we'll be doing throughout the final series. I think there's only a few questions really going into this game, but the matchups are going to be what wins and loses this one. And the question marks pretty much sit on the selection front, I think. Do the Swans risk Cal Mills or Logan McDonald? What do you think?
I think they'll risk it more on McDonald than they will Mills.
So obviously Callum Mills, hamstring, usually a 21-day hamstring. He's only going to have 18 days to prove himself. I personally think he'll be named. I don't know if he plays though. I think he'll be named. I think Logan McDonald, at the end of the day, I think he'll be fine. There is a little bit of a concern. He didn't even show up. He wasn't at the open training session. He was in
well,
rehab.
No offense, but that's not big of a deal for me. That's not a big deal. Like they said last week with Lockie Neal and Dane Zorko, they didn't play. They didn't do the first training session of the week because they never do.
And I feel like they weren't really off the pace.
Yeah,
in the game
yeah. Well, let's be honest. Yeah, they weren't off the pace. But I'm just saying, it's just like it's a big money player. I don't think it's a big deal yet.
Do you think? I mean, the thing is, I think. I know this is very, very harsh, but if Cal Mills wants to prove himself to play in this final, he almost has to risk injuring it at training to just give it a go.
100%.
He needs to be throwing everything at his hamstring and saying, "Okay, I can do this."
Yeah, and as your captain, I'd expect him to do it. I'd expect him to do that.
So you think he will play? You think he'll?
No, I think he'll do everything possible to train, but I don't think he'll get up.
Okay.
I don't think Longmire will do what he did 2 years ago with Sam Reid.
Yeah, and well, in 2016 as well, they mentioned as well that Cal Mills came into that game injured, and even Jared McVeigh came back with little preparation. So I just don't think John Longmire's going to risk that.
No.
Logan McDonald, I think, is a little bit different. It looks like it was just a rolled ankle at the end of the day. That's at worst. Because, I mean, he didn't look too dejected on the bench. Obviously, yes, he was in rehab, but that was Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's give it a break a bit. I think Logan McDonald will be fine. I wouldn't be surprised if Cal Mills is named. I just don't think he gets up. And to be honest, I think Sydney should go in with Robbie Fox. I think he's done enough on that. I mean, obviously as a sub, he didn't do a lot, but I do think that he's a good option. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if Sydney actually potentially play him in the game because Brisbane have a lot of small forwards that he could go to.
Yeah.
Another question mark, Oscar McInerney will be out. Heartbreaking story. Does Darcy Fort get the job? Or do you think they go Joe Danaher or do you think maybe they give Henry Smith a go? I feel like Henry Smith is probably out.
I think he's out of it. I think they will have to go with Darcy Fort. I think they can't afford to play Danaher or whoever makeshift ruckman in a grand final. They can't possibly do it, and especially with Brodie Grundy, who if he on his day he could win the Norm Smith next week. Or this week. He could win the Norm Smith easily.
I think one thing as well is the fact that, let's say, worst case scenario, Danaher goes down early. And they don't have Darcy Fort there.
Yeah.
So that means Eric Hipwood's going to have to play at the ruck? I mean, that's another scenario as well. I think what they can do here, which I think will work, is similar to what they kind of did with Oscar McInerney last week with Darcy Fort, obviously without the injury. If Darcy Fort can get through 2.5 quarters to 3 quarters as a ruck, they could potentially sub him out.
Yeah.
And then Joe Danaher can do the rest. If they have to, and he's like a little bit I'm not saying he's a liability, but Grundy will make him run all day.
Yeah.
So that's something that they could do. I think Darcy Fort's the best option.
Yeah. I think it's the worst position for Brisbane to lose it at this time of the year. Obviously, it doesn't matter what injury or what player it is, but to their ruckman, when they've played only one solo ruck pretty much the whole year, it was the worst time to do it. Yeah,
and his last game was in round 8. Henry Smith has had a couple of games late in the season, but I just don't think they're going to risk a 4th gamer as the key ruckman in the grand final. So I think Darcy Fort's going to get the job. I think he probably knows that too. But a couple of real big stories on the selection front coming through. Let's look a little bit more at the game itself. I think the real talking point of this game is, I think this is where it's going to be won. Which small forwards take the mantle of the game here? Because you got Brisbane, you got Lohman, Cameron, Rayner, and even Logan Morris. For Sydney, you've got Papley, Haywood, and then the resting Heaney you could go up there as well. Parker as well. So, and Sydney's midfield scoring. Whoever gets on top, I feel like will win the game. Now, and the thing is as well, both these teams have the best lockdown small defenders in the comp.
Yeah.
Starskovich and Cunningham. Now, obviously, neither of them get any sort of credit.
Yes.
Until now, these sort of players only start to get credit if they go deep into finals.
Yeah.
Like, you think of Nick Smith in 2012 with the Swans. He was never mentioned before then. I was thinking of the only Swans player, but there are others, obviously. Who do you think both of them will go to? Now, you probably expect Cunningham to go to Cameron, I would say. And then
he's always had the role when they've played recently.
And he's done it pretty well too. And then Starskovich,
probably Papley.
I think it has to be. I think it's been very. It's not been talked about enough with him being back in that team. I think Papley being back is what the Swans desperately needed after that downfall late in the year. I think when he went down, a lot of people thought that was it for him because they didn't really have a small forward in that.
Well,
team.
he went down, funnily enough, in the Brisbane game.
Yeah,
and
so
we obviously people probably don't remember that game. Sydney probably would have won it, but they had 3 players get injured during the game. It was a pretty warm afternoon up in Brisbane as well.
Yeah.
So, not to say that they would have, but also it was a very close game of footy. They very well could have won that game. I think those are the matchups. Though that's going to be the big one. That will be very interesting though. What happens with Kai Lohmann, who gets him because he's been very dangerous this year. Will Hayward, who's going to go to him? You got Rayner as well, of course. That's probably a big one. You mentioned to me before we started. Who do you think goes to Cam Rayner? Because you think Sydney have got Ollie Florent. He usually plays off, likes to run.
to be honest, I think it'll be Melican. I really do.
I think what Sydney will do is they'll send Melican to Hipwood. They'll send McCartan to Danaher. They'll put Rampy on Rayner. And then that will leave Morris, Lohmann. Yeah, Morris and Lohmann. Because Cunningham wants to take Cameron. So those two are going to be very interesting matchups. Who goes to them two? So you got Florent, you got Lloyd, you got Blakey. I feel like Blakey will probably go to Morris so he can play off him. So Lohmann's got to be the choice of either it's going to be of that defender of like Lloyd or Florent. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. That's why I almost think Fox could play in the team because I feel like Fox going to Lohmann could actually be a good matchup.
And then put Campbell as the sub.
I'd almost put Justin McInerney as the sub, but also
I don't think not in that, after that prelim. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, he probably.
I think there's no way that they'll risk that.
Yeah, it's tough who Sydney would put as the sub because Campbell he had a very good qualifying final. Typically do a lot in that prelim final.
That's the thing that I think that if they're going to sub, to be honest, yeah, like you said, I think they would play Fox over Campbell and put Campbell as the sub. Yeah. Or sadly, he would miss for Mills.
I don't think that would happen. I feel like Fox would come in for Mills, to be honest.
That's
Sorry, Mills would come for Fox.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
and then Mills would play on Lohmann. But then, obviously, there's so many selection points that could happen. Let's take a look at the big matchups of the game. James Jordan, what does he do here? Does he tag Dane Zorko or does he go to Lucky Neal? What do you think?
That'd be stupid if they don't go to Zorko. That'd be
what Sydney did against Brisbane last time was they sent Errol Goulden to him. They made him play off him.
I think, I not. But let's be honest, they didn't win that game, did they? I know that there's a lot of other attributes, but I think that you have to stop Zorko because in that, both those finals, in the elimination and the semi-final, if he didn't have those performances, they don't win those games.
You mean the semi and prelim?
No, I mean, no, the prelim was a bit different, but I think Neil's role was there for the clearance battle. But I think the semi-final second half for Zorko getting him back into it, and that elimination final, he set it up without anyone being on him.
So I agree with you on James Jordan, and the reason why I'm saying James Jordan goes to Zorko and not forward is because the one thing is Zorko will always let you have a chance as a forward.
Yes.
Which I think would be fair enough if Hayward or a Papley was on him or even an Errol Goulden. But the fact is he does so much damage on the counter that I think that a tagging role for James Jordan is necessary because if you need to... I think Jordan can do enough to kick goals. I think that's fine. He's shown this year when he went up against Jordan Clark that he can score.
Yeah.
I think in that game against Fremantle in Perth, he had the most score involvements in that game, James Jordan. So he can obviously get himself the ball as well. But he does need to stop Zorko from getting pushed forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair enough call. I think if Lachie Neale does go off the chain, Rowbottom will go to him as that defensive midfielder and just push him at stoppage, try and push him under the stoppage, don't let him go, basically. So that's what I think will happen for Sydney. That's what I think the best way to go about it is. Now, Luke Parker, I think he goes around Harris Andrews here.
Yeah.
Similar to what he did against Aliir, I think that he does that again.
Yeah, I think that he just has to start on him. I think that They can't do what they did, what they happened last week with Aaliyah, because he just dominated that first quarter.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. They send Parker straight to him. Very interesting matchup here, which I think won't be talked about by anyone other than us. Fletcher with Golden. I think this is a matchup for his career. Not for his career, but this is going to be his biggest matchup so far, Jasper Fletcher. I thought he played really well last week on Ollie Dempsey, but now you're going up against the best wingman in the comp. So if Fletcher can keep him accountable, so Fletcher can try and get him on the counter, because he showed some good signs last week, Fletcher, on the counter against Ollie Dempsey, and Dempsey didn't have a very good prelim final. So I think it's a very good matchup there. We mentioned, I think that Cunningham will go to Cameron. I think that Tom McCartan will go to Danaher.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair enough. But I think the big one as well, Isaac Heaney. What do we do? What are they doing with Isaac Heaney?
I think it's Josh Dunkley. I don't think it's Barry. I think it's Dunkley.
Okay.
I think he's got the more of the aerobic capacity to stay with him than Barry does.
Okay. So that means you would say Barry or McCluggage stands with Warner?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they have to stay accountable.
I think that Barry will be on him at stoppage and they'll see what happens with the around the ground.
Yeah.
I think that's what they'll do. But I think Dunkley needs to go to Heaney.
And what I've said the last couple of weeks when I've said someone mans up Heaney, and there's something that Sydney are doing so well, which is good, and I hope they continue it, he pushes forward.
Yeah.
And he's done it well, because he did it against Port Adelaide, and Port Adelaide with Willem Drew, they couldn't... Willem Drew actually had a pretty okay game against him. But as soon as he pushed forward...
He was done.
And the thing is as well, Sydney were looking for him forward too.
Yeah.
And that's what they've got to do this week against Brisbane. So I think the biggest matchup of the game is going to be the small forward ones. Cunningham against Cameron and Starskovic against Papley. I think that's going to be the big ones. But this is such a great game. I think actually someone in the comments put this in, and I thought it was a very good point. This is the best team the first half of the year versus the best team the second half of the year. It's going to be a fairy tale for whoever wins it. These are the last two losers in grand finals. What's your tip?
We're going to go Norm Smith as well.
Yeah, we'll go Norm Smith as well.
I reckon the Swans do it. They'll win it by under 2 goals. I'll go to Chad.
You go to
Norm
Chad.
Smith.
Chad Warner. Alright. I'm going to go Sydney as well. I think it will be I'll say 3 goals. 3 goals. And I'll go with, I know it's an obvious one, but I'll go Isaac Heaney. But I think I would be heartbroken, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brisbane go 4 in a row here and win the game. Because they are fighting for Chris Fagan. They love him. It's like Ken Hinkley 2.0. They want to get him a premiership. They have played so well this year. They would be deserving winners, even though they finished 5th. I think they'd be deserving winners.
Yeah.
But I think we're set up for an almighty grand final.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great grand final. We will be streaming it here. The game starts at 2 p.m. Adelaide time, so I think it's 2:30 Melbourne time. Don't quote me. I don't even know if it's going to be on. I don't think it's going to be on KO. I think they just show a blind. So I think it's 7+. You have to watch it. So if you are wondering, it is going to be on 7+, or you can just listen to me commentate it, which I don't know how good of commentating it's going to be, depending on how close the game gets. But we're both tipping Sydney. Grand final for the ages, I think. I think this is going to be a really good game. Final preview, the 2024 Grand Final. The fairy tale for a lot of us. The first time in, nearly 20 years that we've had 2 non-Victorian teams play in a Grand Final.
About time.
Sydney Swans against the Brisbane Lions. Well, state of origin as well in the AFL, of course. So, let's go to a couple of questions we'll be doing throughout the final series. I think there's only a few questions really going into this game, but the matchups are going to be what wins and loses this one. And the question marks pretty much sit on the selection front, I think. Do the Swans risk Cal Mills or Logan McDonald? What do you think?
I think they'll risk it more on McDonald than they will Mills.
So obviously Callum Mills hamstring, usually a 21-day hamstring. He's only going to have 18 days to prove himself. I personally think he'll be named. I don't know if he plays though. I think he'll be named. I think Logan McDonald, at the end of the day, I think he'll be fine. There is a little bit of a concern. He didn't even show up. He wasn't at the open training session. He was in rehab.
No offense, but that's not big of a deal. For me, that's not a big deal. Like they said last week with Lockie Neal and Dane Zorko, they didn't play. They didn't do the first training session of the week because they never do.
And I feel like they weren't really off the pace.
Yeah,
in the game
yeah. Well, let's be honest. Yeah, they weren't off the pace. But I'm just saying, it's just like it's a big money player. I don't think it's a big deal yet.
Do you think? I mean, the thing is, I think. I know this is very, very harsh, but if Cal Mills wants to prove himself to play in this final, he almost has to risk injuring it at training to just give it a go.
100%.
He needs to be throwing everything at his hamstring and saying, "Okay, I can do this."
Yeah, and as your captain, I'd expect him to do it. I'd expect him to do that.
So you think he will play? You think he'll?
No, I think he'll do everything possible to train, but I don't think he'll get up.
Okay.
I don't think Longmire will do what he did 2 years ago with Sam Reid.
Yeah, and well, in 2016 as well, they mentioned as well that Cal Mills came into that game injured, and even Jared McVeigh came back with little preparation. So I just don't think John Longmire's going to risk that.
No.
Logan McDonald, I think, is a little bit different. It looks like it was just a rolled ankle at the end of the day. That's at worst. Because, I mean, he didn't look too dejected on the bench. Obviously, yes, he was in rehab, but that was Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's give it a break a bit. I think Logan McDonald will be fine. I wouldn't be surprised if Cal Mills is named. I just don't think he gets up. And to be honest, I think Sydney should go in with Robbie Fox. I think he's done enough on that. I mean, obviously as a sub, he didn't do a lot, but I do think that he's a good option. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if Sydney actually potentially play him in the game because Brisbane have a lot of small forwards that he could go to.
Yeah.
Another question mark, Oscar McInerney will be out. Heartbreaking story. Does Darcy Fort get the job? Or do you think they go Joe Danaher? Or do you think maybe they give Henry Smith a go? I feel like Henry Smith is probably
I think he's out of it. I think they will have to go with Darcy Fort. I think they can't afford to play Danaher or whoever makeshift ruckman in a grand final. They can't possibly do it, and especially with Brodie Grundy, who if he on his day he could win the Norm Smith next week or this week. He could win the Norm Smith easily.
I think one thing as well is the fact that, let's say, worst case scenario, Danaher goes down early. And they don't have Darcy Fort there.
Yeah.
So that means what, Eric Hipwood's going to have to play at the ruck? I mean, that's another scenario as well. I think what they can do here, which I think will work, is similar to what they kind of did with Oscar McInerney last week with Darcy Fort, obviously without the injury. If Darcy Fort can get through 2.5 quarters to 3 quarters as a ruck, they could potentially sub him out.
Yeah.
And then Joe Danaher can do the rest. If they have to, and he's like a little bit of, I'm not saying he's a liability, but Grundy will make him run all day.
Yeah.
So that's something that they could do. I think Darcy Fort's the best option.
Yeah. I think it's the worst position for Brisbane to lose it at this time of the year. Obviously, it doesn't matter what player it is, but to their ruckman, when they've played only one solo ruck pretty much the whole year, it was the worst time to do it. Yeah, and his last game was in round 8. Henry Smith has had a couple of games late in the season, but I just don't think they're going to risk a 4th gamer as the key ruckman in the grand final. So I think Darcy Fort's going to get the job. I think he probably knows that too. But a couple of real big stories on the selection front coming through. Let's look a little bit more at the game itself. I think the real talking point of this game is, I think this is where it's going to be won. Which small forwards take the mantle of the game here? Because you got Brisbane, you got Lohman, Cameron, Rayner, and even Logan Morris. For Sydney, you've got Papley, Haywood, and then the resting Heaney you could go up there as well. Parker as well. So, and Sydney's midfield scoring. Whoever gets on top, I feel like will win the game. Now, and the thing is as well, both these teams have the best lockdown small defenders in the comp. Yeah, Starskovich and Cunningham. Now, obviously, neither of them get any sort of credit. Yes. Like, I mean, until now, these sort of players only start to get credit
if they go deep into finals.
Yeah.
Like, you think of Nick Smith in 2012 with the Swans. He was never mentioned before then. Obviously think of the only Swans player, but there are others, obviously. Who do you think both of them will go to? Now, you'd probably expect Cunningham to go to Cameron, I would say. And then
he's always had the role when they've played recently.
And he's done it pretty well too. And then Starskovich, probably Papley.
I think it has to be. I think it's been very. It's not been talked about enough with him being back in that team. I think Papley being back is what the Swans desperately needed after that downfall late in the year. I think when he went down, a lot of people thought that was it for him because they didn't really have a small forward in that.
Well,
team.
he went down, funnily enough, in the Brisbane game.
Yeah,
and
so
we obviously people probably don't remember that game. Sydney probably would have won it, but they had 3 players get injured during the game. It was a pretty warm afternoon up in Brisbane as well. Yeah. So, not to say that they would have, but also it was a very close game of footy. They very well could have won that game. I think those are the matchups. Yeah. That's going to be the big one. That will be very interesting, though, what happens with Kai Lohman, who gets him, because he's been very dangerous this year. Will Hayward, who's going to go to him. You got Rayner as well, of course. That's probably a big one. You mentioned to me before we started. Who do you think goes to Cam Rayner? Because you think Sydney have got Ollie Florent. He usually plays off, likes to run.
To be honest, I think it'll be Melican. I really do.
I think what Sydney will do is they'll send Melican to Hipwood. They'll send McCartan to Danaher. They'll put Rampy on Rayner. And then that will leave Morris, Lohman. Yeah, Morris and Lohman. Because Cunningham also take Cameron. So those two are going to be very interesting matchups. Who goes? Alrighty, guys. The stage is set for the second half. 46 points the margin. Brisbane absolutely blitzed the Swans in the second term. What a performance. The Swans and the Lions both back out on the field. At this stage, don't believe any of the subs have been made. Yeah, Sydney's midfield needs to desperately lift. Heaney, Golden, Warner. I think Rowbottom's been okay, but those other 3 have been pretty poor, to say the least. So still subs yet to be used. One is Connor McKenna for Brisbane and Braden Campbell for the Sydney Swans. So neither of them have been used as of yet. Wouldn't be surprised if the Swans drop theirs pretty soon after half-time. We just have to wait and see, though. So Kai Lohman making his way to the bench to start the second half. And players starting to move back into their positions now. So Joe Danaher, of course, on the... Looks like he had a bit of a shower at half time. I'm not too sure about that. So Luke Parker straight into the middle to give the Swans a chance in the second half. Darcy Ford has been brilliant in the ruck against Brodie Grundy today. Brisbane have hands on the cup already. If they can break the Swans early in this third quarter, game is done. Of course, both these last 2 teams have been the last 2 losers of grand finals. Brisbane right now ready to break a 21-year drought. So here we go. From the tap down. Ball spills now to Berry. Tackled well by Grundy. Ball up. So players getting back to their feet now. Luke Parker gone straight into the middle here to give his team a bit of a spark. Grundy tried to slap it forward. Rowbottom immediately tackled. He's been held. He'll get the free kick. So Heaney's been sent forward. He's got Ainsworth to track him. He sends it long. Rowbottom up went Hayward a bit early. Ball spills out to Zorko. He runs away. Sends it wide. Good kick in the end. Hits up Leicester. Zorko and Hayward having a couple of words.
So it looks like McCluggage has got a tag from Jordan at the moment. Short little kick turned over. Cunningham cut it off well. He gives off the handball to Warner. He'll drive it long. Numbers here with Brisbane. Andrews is there. Couldn't mark it. Great tackle from Parker and ball spills through for a behind. First score of the second half is to the Swans. So Zorko to take the kick in here. Wants to go members side. Wide looking ball. 2-on-2 here. Lloyd up against Dunkley. Ball spills out the back for Rampy. He gathered it well. Handball over the top. Couple of numbers there. Cunningham just to the toes of Lloyd and it rolls out of bounds. She's all over, lads. Yeah, I'm thinking so, brother. Umpire throws it back into play. Tap down from Grundy. Ball spills now to Dunkley. Did well. Quick hands off to Fletcher. He sends it up the wing. 1-on-1. Melican up against Hipwood. Melican did it pretty well. Ball spills now to Neal. Good tap on there onto Rayner. He breaks the tackle. Inside handball was brilliant to Fletcher. He kept on running. A long 25-metre give. Hipwood locked up by Rampy. Slammed it into the turf and it'll be another stoppage. So Chris Fagan, he knows this game isn't done just yet. He wouldn't get too comfortable. John Longmire up in the box. He's been in this position before in grand finals. Can he change something here? Grundy and McCluggage trying to go at it there on the ground. Tackled well there, Dunkley, ball up. So Jordan has taken McCluggage in the start of the second half. And Heaney, as I said, has gone forward. Couple of changes for the Sydney Swans. Luke Parker's gone to stoppage as well. From the tap down, Rayner was breaking through. Dunkley let it go. Neal soccering forward. Archie locked up by Florent. Good tackle in the end. Ball breaks out. McCartan got a handball away only just. Jordan probably got a high one. Umpire doesn't say. And then a ball up here just inside the lines forward 50. So from the tap, Grundy tried to tap it down to himself. Handball at the back. Tried to get a kick away. Wasn't 15 to Danaher and pushed out of bounds. So it'll be a throw in here inside the lines forward 50. Early stages, third term. So 45 points. 18 minutes obviously still to go in this third term. Grundy up against Danaher. Grundy with the fist. Try to get it forward. Slap back inside the lines forward 50. And another stoppage here, right on the Telstra logo at 50. So Campbell looks like he's set to come on in a moment. He's got his jacket off. He's ready to go. Tap down, ricochets away. Now Rowbottom wrapped up by Neal. Try to get a kick away. Was hit the turf from Rayner. Now Neal breaks away. He was clean from outside 50. Drives it long. Numbers here with Sydney. Good mark from Melican. And Charlie Cameron, in fact, has got the free kick for a hold. Cunningham isn't impressed by it. That's fucking piss poor. So Cunningham not impressed, but Cameron will get a free kick at the top of the goal square. It looks like Logan McDonald's the one to be subbed out for Sydney with an ankle concern. So Charlie Cameron to send this past 50 points and get their hands pretty well square on that Premiership Cup. Oh, he's missed. Jesus. They were straight in front, about 20 out, and Cameron slammed it into the goalpost. So now the Swans break it through the middle, long to Papley in a one-on-one. Leicester did really well. And now Zorko out the back to Starskovic. He goes wide with the kick, just a little bit too much on it there for Ashcroft, but now the Lions have the numbers. Dunkley, Ashcroft over the top to Hipwood. Slap back was brilliant, back to Ashcroft. Short little ball, 15 metres, paid to Rayner. So now Rayner obviously broke the game apart against Geelong last week in the second half. Can he get the Lions over 50 points? So Cam Rayner. Cameron couldn't get those hands on the cup just yet. Cam Rayner an opportunity. From 50, he comes in, slow approach, hooks it to the left-hand side. Numbers are still there, but McCartan fists it through. So 47 points. Towards the wing it goes. Brought to ground nicely, McInerney. Parker threads through the handball to Goulden. Short little kick was nice to Papley. In the centre square. Wants to kick it across the centre square. Not the greatest looking kick. So they work it back the other way. The Swans on the bounce to Rowbottom. He turned away from traffic. Wide looking ball was okay. And now the Swans can get it inside forward 50. Only just finds McInerney. So Blakey is inside the forward 50. McInerney just works it short here. Finds Jordan. So he's probably too far out to score, I'd say here, James Jordan. But it may just have to go for it here. There's not really many options here for James Jordan. Has been a really good recruit from the Melbourne Demons this year, James Jordan. So James Jordan comes in. He's kicked it wide. It won't score. It's out of bounds on the full. Had the distance, all right, but that's not the best kick. So 47 points the margin. So Leicester has the footy. So Leicester goes back down that same wing. Numbers there with Brisbane. Ball hits the ground. Did pretty well. Got a fist kick onto it. Did it nice. Lloyd threaded through the handball to Papley. He goes with the handball over the top to McInerney. That was dreadful from Justin McInerney. What was he doing? Take possession of the fucking football. Now the Lions got the overlap. They bounce it through here to Danaher. He's got one option inside the forward 50. He breaks 40. He gets the kick across the body and all on his own. Is Kalarchi as he's been all day. Fucking hell, McInerney. That was Lairising at the best of stages. All you had to do was take the fucking contact. What was he fucking doing? Slapping it. Fuck me, that was fucking piss poor. So Kalarchi, he's probably been the story of the final series, Kalarchi. He's been so important to the Lions. And a chance here from 25 metres out. Slightish angle. He'll bring it back. And that cup is bound for the Brisbane town right now. Fuck me, that was piss poor from McInerney. All he had to fucking do was take possession of it. Well, that's all she wrote, I think, boys. Why is Nick Jonas doing this ad? Fucking hell. So it's 53 points right now. Brisbane are owning the Sydney Swans on grand final day. From the tap down, McCluggage over the top. Everything's going to gold at the moment. Neil sends it towards the forward 50 for Danaher. Great grab. Obviously a bit of a talk throughout the week if he's going to end his career at the end of this game. Well, if he does, what a football player he has been. Was their best player in the last year's grand final. Almost got his team over the line. But right now, opportunity. This would seal it. $53 points the margin. Right now the Lions are threatening a couple of records. Danaher comes in. He's hooked it to the right and it's through for a behind. They've only had 5 more inside 50s than Sydney, but fuck me, are Sydney just dreadful going forward, and Brisbane just look like scoring every single time they even go inside, even their forward half, for fuck's sake. So now Roberts goes on the outer wing. Long looking ball in front there. The Lions had the numbers. Campbell fumbled. Grundy, good pick up. Ball spills out. Parker into Florent. Handball over, trying to find McInerney. He worried Neil out of it. McInerney forward to Campbell. Tackled. Well done, Leicester. Now getting back is Zorko. He breaks the tackle, and Brisbane have had all the answers all day. So Berry in short to Lohman.
9 goals the margin. Right now, Brisbane are threatening a couple of records. A couple of Port Adelaide fans probably thinking, maybe, just maybe. So Brisbane going with the full switch to Starskovic. At halfback. He goes down the wing. It's a great looking ball on the bounce to McCluggage. Jordan, good tackle. Good pressure. And he gets him holding the ball. I don't know what Katy Perry's doing. Can we not see her on the camera? I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to be honest with you. Fuck, better not be like a Taylor Swift moment. Anyway, Jordan sends it towards 50. Great read from Leicester. Couldn't mark it. Parker fighting hard. Campbell wrapped up. Ball up. So on the 50 here for Sydney. Grundy with the tap. Heaney was held without it. Ball spills out now to Florent. He gets past the tackle. Off to Warner. Towards the 50. Dreadful looking kick. And Fletcher doesn't get the free. Probably deserved it. Papley trying to back into the traffic. Try to get a handball away, but Neal read it well. Feigned the handball inside. Took all the pressure. Kicked it down the wing. Numbers here with Brisbane, but it spills to Roberts. Gives it off to Blakey. Inside the forward 50. Finds Heaney. So Isaac Heaney takes the mark inside the forward 50. Great kick there from Nick Blakey inside the forward 50. So Isaac Heaney probably hasn't been his day today. Arguably dragged them over the line by himself against the Giants. Was brilliant last week against Port Adelaide. Chance here for his first goal of the 2024 Grand Final. Isaac Heaney comes in, straight through the middle, a great finish. So 48 points, goal each to either side in the second half. Just a couple of moments there from Brisbane. They probably could have just gone there from Lockie Neal. He went for the handball, then kicked it down the wing. Got a lucky bounce there. Matt Roberts did well. And then Nick Blakey's kick was brilliant inside the forward 50. So 10.5 minutes still to go on this third term. Grundy up against Danaher in the ruck. Bounce down. Neither could get there. Free kick's going to be called to Sydney. Hayden McLean, in fact it was. He gives it off to Goulden. Hasn't been his day so far. Inside the forward 50, Starskovic in front. Hasn't missed a couple of kicks today, Errol Goulden. Hasn't been his day. So Starskovic had a good game so far, despite Papley getting a goal early. So Starskovic sends it long. Rayner! Great grab. Not paid. No, it is. Good mark. So Cam Rayner has the footy here. Centre wing. Just works the kick wide. So it's Lockie Neal. Went to go wide, but now just going to send it long inside the forward 50. Eric Hipwood's there. Ball fist to the ground. Numbers here with Cameron. He kept it in only momentarily. So locked inside the Lions forward 50. So throws it back into play. Hipwood up against McLean. McLean win it down. Ashcroft breaking through the stoppage. What a brilliant goal. Untouched. And he's kind of untouchable right now, Will Ashcroft. Brilliant finish. I mean, I could ask for Sydney to maybe put an arm across him, but that was fucking weak as well. Brilliant play from Ashcroft. He's been brilliant this final series. Brilliant gather, brilliant goal. They've been immensely good today, Brisbane. He was on Errol Goulden at the stoppage, just pushed away way too easily.
Golden's had a shocker too. So back in the middle we go. Brisbane lead it by 54 points. So they got 2-1 in this third term. Back in the ruck. Ball spills now to Neil. Brilliant. Gave it off to Ashcroft. Danaher goes with a wide handball. Berry has time to gather. Wormburner finds Hipwood. Back to Ashcroft. He can get two in a minute. He thumps it long. And it spills and goes and runs. And it's out of bounds. I think it hit the behind post. Well, Ashcroft's just ready to flex his muscles in the second half. Was one of their best in the first. Up there with McCluggage. There have been so many great players for Brisbane in that first half. 22 touches right now. Will Ashcroft, 8 score involvements. He's been brilliant. Back in the ruck. McLean won it down. McCartan fumbled. Coming through his Parker. McCluggage did okay. Cunningham fumbled. Neil, little slap on. Couldn't get it to an opponent. And now Rayner has all the time in the world. Turn it over. Fox breaks away. In the back pocket. Gives it off to Blakey. He wants to handball inside dangerously, but he did okay. They link up well here, the Swans. Florent. Little kick inside was well done. He hits up Jordan. So Jordan here, defensive side of the wing. He cuts back here to Blakey. And he goes in short, low ball. Good mark there from Heaney. Little kick over the top, missed his teammate. Florent has to track it. Did well there, Berry. Coming through his Gordon, beaten by Wilmot, and off he goes. He takes a bounce. He'll want to take a second. He may even take a third. He just decides to kick it short. Good option to Cameron. Melican did it pretty well. It's actually going to be a free kick here to Charlie Cameron on the just forward, about 60 out. Heaney's kick was dreadful on the wing too. And Golden was beaten to it as well. Wilmot wanted it more. So Cameron will take the footy. So Cameron just goes back here to Ainsworth. So now Ainsworth works it towards the forward 50 for Bailey. He's had too much on it. McLean there with Lohman. Lohman just runs that out of bounds. So umpire throws it back into play. Hipwood up against McLean. It gets out the back for Ashcroft. He swung the 360. Still got a handball away somehow. Lloyd ran in against two opponents. And the ball's held to Jake Lloyd for a ball up. So up in the one-on-one. McLean won it down. McCluggage couldn't grab it cleanly. McLean with the kick away, running towards the boundary line. This will be called insufficient intent. So a free kick here to Brisbane. So Jared Berry has it. So Berry probably going to set this one up, I'd imagine. Kick the goal in the second term. Goes towards the pocket with a low ball. Good mark there from Golden. Took it in front. Lohman tries to track him. He just works the kick short. Did it well. McInerney. So now McInerney. Thumps it down the wing. 2-on-1 in Brisbane's favour. Dreadful kick. Fuck me. So Starskiewicz takes the grab. So now Payne. Gets it back inside that forward 50. McCartan did well. Got a fist to it. And eventually roll out of bounds. 6 minutes 54 left in this third quarter. Brisbane led it by 54 points. Brisbane have just wanted the footy more all day. Danaher gets the clearance. A chaos ball inside the forward 50. It gets out the back. Cameron tried to slap it to a teammate. Only as far as McCartan. Now Blakey got the clearing ball towards one-on-one. And Lachie Neale takes the grab. Just outside the forward 50 here. They're going to run the perimeter here. Backwards kick to Zorko. So he goes across now to Andrews. So Brisbane just happy to just chew the clock as much as they want. Ainsworth goes across now to Danaher.
every ticking second. There's still a quarter to go, but right now Brisbane just giving Sydney a death by 1,000 cuts. He sends it long for Grainer! He's built for these kind of moments. He went up a little bit too early, but then just took a great mark. Probably didn't get the launch that he wanted, but just leaned back and took it well. We've seen some great marks in grand finals. Cam Rayner, that one's up there. He snaps around the body, and it's celebration time now for Brisbane. What the fuck's the mouse? There it is. $60 points, the margin. It's been a demolition job from Brisbane. Basically, since halfway through the second quarter, they have smashed Sydney. Well, that's the thing now. That's smashed Sydney's any sort of chance. Not that Sydney were going to come back or whatever, but even if Sydney thought there was a chance, that's smashed now. Brisbane will kill them here. So back in the middle we go. Tap down from Grundy. Heaney beaten to it. Fort been brilliant. Spills now to Ashcroft. Gets it inside the forward 50 again. Cameron went up a bit early. Ball spills now for Lohman, who gets it off to Joey Danaher, who'll dribble and bounce it and kicks it wide. So Rampy now to Roberts. He gets it back inside to Goulden. Yeah, it's been not a good day for Errol Goulden. Hasn't done a lot in that first half, and now he's been caught in the microscope a few times. He gives it back to Fox. He cuts the kick back inside. Good hands from Roberts. So now the switch ball here from the Swans. They're still on the defensive side of the wing. Cunningham works it to Campbell. 61 points. Been an absolute demolition job from Brisbane in this second half, in the second quarter and third. Cuts the kick inside. McInerney did okay. Heaney, Lester tackling two players at once. He did that really well there, Ryan Lester. They've had more touches. Brisbane have had more tackles. They've just broken Sydney apart today. Fort fists it forward. Swans have the numbers here. Roberts turned it over. Ball spills now to Wilmot and tackled by Jordan. 4:10 still in the clock here in this third quarter. From the tap down, players held there. Sydney will take the advantage. No, it's Brisbane's free kick. So Darcy Fort will take it. He just goes lateral here to Zorko. Oscar McInerney on the bench right now. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of pain in the win, but he's such a clubman, Oscar McInerney. They've done it for him today. From the outset, they have brought the pressure. Darcy Fort's been brilliant. So Zorko still has the footy here. Sends it down the wing. Pack of players form. In front there was Lohman, couldn't mark. Always on the ground though. McCluggage held without it momentarily. Jordan slammed into the turf by Dunkley. Yep. Been 106 marks from Brisbane. It's been utterly embarrassing from Sydney, their pressure today. McInerney got the handball. That's a Campbell. Spilled away. Trying to get it out. Someone did okay there, Rampy. Broke a tackle. Handball inside was well to Florin. He feigned to give one way, then went back the other. Handball to Papley. Hit the toes. He did okay, then threw it to himself. Then punched it away. Turned it over to Morris. Now the Lions can work it forward. Neal went wide. Bailey broke an easy tackle. Broke past another. The kick inside 50. And finds Dunkley. And then he'll just go over the top and find Logan Morris. Oh, fucking hell. It's another bad day for Sydney in a grand final. A really bad day.
It's what? 3 of the fast 4 losses now are going to be over like 60 fast points. Hawthorn, they lost by that much. Obviously, Bulldogs was closer. Then Geelong, they got smashed. And Brisbane are threatening right now to maybe set a couple of records. Logan Morris, what a season he had. And what a season he's having right now. 67 points. Brisbane, it's party time. Came in earlier in the year, Logan Morris, for a couple of injuries. They've unearthed some young talent. Him, Kyle Lohman. Will Ashcroft return as well. Just been brilliant. Think they know they've got it now, Brisbane. There's still a quarter to go, but 67 points. They've been brilliant from the outset. Sydney just haven't arrived today. Been the best team for the season, but Brisbane have been brilliant this second half of the year. Deserving winners. Rowbottom from the stoppage. Brought it forward here. Finds Warner. So Warner runs a bit of an arc. Went to go long, then just kicks it lateral. Finds Goulden. Outside the forward 50. Goes in with a dart towards Amati. Good mark. To Joel Amati. First mark of the afternoon. Inside the forward 50 for him. That's their 5th mark inside 50 for Sydney today. Compared to Brisbane, who's got 20. But Joel Amati comes in, kicked it on the instep. It's not going to be a score. It's a dreadful kick. So Bailey's short to Answorth. Goes back to Zorko. And now Zorko goes to Bailey. They'll just chew up the clock as much as they want right now. Loving every second on the MCG this afternoon, the Brisbane Lions. So now Bailey goes long. Lohman gets there, couldn't mark. Ball hits the ground momentarily there for Starskovic and wrapped up by Campbell. Kitty Coleman in the stands today. Obviously got injured in opening round. He was there last year, was argued one of their best. Rowbottom gets it inside the forward 50, dribbling ball there. Heaney couldn't grab it cleanly. Starskovic with the clearing ball towards the one-on-one. Beaten there was Hipwood by Rampy. Gives it back to Gould. About to get shut down. Got the kick away. Smothered. Here go the Lions again. Rayner goes with a long kick over the chop. It's Kalarchi. There's no one in between him and the goals. He can run all the way to the Brisbane faithful. What a brilliant goal. There's still another quarter to play for Brisbane. They currently lead it by 73 points. This has 100 written all over it. Well, it's a serious talking point now for Sydney that they're not playing good. I mean, I know it's only one game a year. I know some people may say that, maybe even a couple of Swans fans, but it's seriously got to be talked about. The fact that they do not show up on grand final day. 3 of the last 4 grand final losses for Sydney have not only been losses, but have been smashings. It's fucking pathetic. So back in the middle, free kick's going to be called out. It's going to go to Sydney, Rowbottom. One of the only few Swans who can hold his head up high. Gives it back to Goulden. He'll slam it inside the forward 50 again. One, couldn't make it on the second attempt. Then McLean. Payne tries to claim the mark. Don't know about that. Gives it back to Answorth. That's all the time in the world. Thumps it towards the one-on-one on the wing. Rampy up against Archie. Spills out the back. Blakey up against Archie. Who's going to get there first? Archie and Blakey both go to ground. Then Rampy did as well. Try to drag it in. Maybe a high one. Play onto the call. About to hear the siren for three-quarter time. And the Brisbane Lions only have 30 more minutes left to go before they can hold that premiership cup aloft. What a brilliant third term. What a brilliant couple of quarters Brisbane have shown. What a brilliant final series we have seen. It's been a fairy tale story for the Brisbane Lions, and they only have 30 more minutes to go in their wonderful season. BT just called Chris Fagan, Dennis Pagan. Well, maybe he is. Maybe he's just in disguise. You don't know that, Captain. Yeah, why the fuck did he just say that? That's so fucking weird. I just heard that then. What the fuck was that? Well, my internet just crapped itself I think, oh damn, I thought 7 AFL just shit itself. That's funny. 7 AFL just shit itself. That's funny as fuck. They want to put me out of my misery, guys. They're being nice to me. I appreciate that. But unfortunately, we have to keep on going. No, Brisbane have played brilliant. You have to give them so much credit here. They have done brilliantly today. They smashed Sydney in that second term. Cal Archie's been brilliant. It's a serious talking point now that Sydney have to look at. Right now, if I'm looking at votes for this game, Cal Archie, or would you give him 3? I think you give him 3. I think he's been amazing. Will Ashcroft with the 2. I think he's been amazing as well. And then there's a raffle between the 1 vote. Neil has been, Neil has been good. I've loved Dunkley's game as well, up against Heaney in the stoppages. Danaher's been good. He would get 3 if he kicked straight. He's hit 1 goal 4. Ryan Lester, I've liked his game too. Starskovich has played well. Kai Lohman, he's probably tapered off in that since midway through the second term, so he probably doesn't get it, but he's still been amazing. Cam Rayner had a good quarter. McCluggage had a good first half, was kind of quiet in that third term. Well done, Lions. Yeah, I'm obviously disappointed, like as many people would be, many Swans fans would be. This has been very demoralising, this game, for the Swans. They've not, after quarter time, no, not even that, basically since late in the first quarter, Sydney just haven't responded to any sort of pressure. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Captain, but also Sydney have not... I think Brisbane have made them play that way. They've just been that good, I think. I wouldn't actually agree with you, to be honest. I think Goulden's done fuck all. He's been pushed around at stoppage. He's had a few touches in that third quarter, but I think he's been very poor. How many touches has he had? He's had 15 touches. Yeah, I mean, he's had 13 kicks. He had that good kick inside the forward 50. I think he's been pushed around. I don't think he's done enough with it. I think he's been pushed around at stoppage. Like, that Ashcroft goal was fucking poor from him. If we look at Sydney right now, I think Rowbottom's played well. I think Robbie Fox has had some moments. There's not really many other else players that I could give a decent talking point to right now. Logan McDonald came into this game injured, and that's another fucking talking point. Like, no one talked about it because it was all about Cal Mills this week. But if he wasn't ready for it, he clearly wasn't. He went out just before at the start of the third quarter. And again, we play another fucking injured player, and I'm not saying it cost us, but again, how do you think Cal Mills feels? He misses this grand final. He went through all his paces at training, and he doesn't get a game. Yet Logan McDonald, was clearly fucking injured, he had 1 touch, and that was in the first few minutes of the game. He's done fuck all since, and he's... Yeah, sorry. I'm not... Sorry, I'm being a bit upset, but... Like, so much credit to Brisbane. They have played so well. They have brought so much pressure. They have been immense around the footy. They have been brilliant when going inside the forward 50. And right now, who would be the worst Brisbane player right now? Maybe Eric Hipwood. Like, he's done not much. He's had 8 touches. But even then, he has played really well. I wouldn't say he's played poorly. Every time he's touched it, he's done something well with it. Harris Andrews been brilliant. Like, Zach Bailey probably hasn't had a massive day for him. But, I mean, I still think he's had some good moments. Jack Payne, such a great story. He's been questioned throughout this whole final series. Of course, got smashed by Jesse Hogan in that semi-final. Kept his spot, was brilliant in that final quarter against Geelong, and has been good today as well. Who else? Darcy Fort. He's had 9 touches, 15 hit-outs, 2 clearances. Doesn't really jump off the screen, but he has been amazing. He is like Brodie Grundy. He'd have the touches there. What does Grundy have? He's had, 15 touches, pretty good for a ruckman, 3 clearances. Darcy Fort, who's played, 3 games this year, has smashed him, in my opinion. And Danaher's done really well as well when he's been in the row. Warner, Gordon, Papley, Heaney, Amadi, the star's playing like Spud. Yeah, well, I wouldn't call Amadi a star, but I agree with you. It's just been a smashing. I don't think there's been any Swans player other than the two I mentioned, Rowbottom and Robbie Fox, which is funny because Fox has probably been Sydney's probably been the best 3 players in the last 2 grand finals we've played, and we've been smashed. Swans are playing through the middle, exactly how Brisbane want their prey to. Yeah. It's not good enough from Sydney. It's not good enough. And, they started to try and get the ball moving in the early parts of that third quarter. Where was that in that second term when Brisbane were coming? Now, I know Brisbane's pressure was immense and they just kept on going and going and going. But Sydney have not thrown a punch. It's been dreadful. Amadi can take games by the scruff. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You're true. Right. But also, I think that he takes some moments when Sydney are doing really well. So we're about to get ready for the last quarter. The last quarter in the 2024 AFL season. Brisbane have their hands on the cup. And right now, just 30 minutes of celebrating for them on the MCG turf. We're in from the tap down. Fort goes in. Rowbottom fighting hard. He spills it out well to Florent. Now Warner. He'll get the clearance. High ball inside the forward 50. Amadi stands underneath it. Ball tapped out to Campbell. Zorko wraps him up and it's inside the forward 50. I'm a Pies fan. I know how Brisbane like teams to play. Yeah. So back in the ruck, Fort just throws running to the turf and gets the clearance again. High up and under. Good mark from Fox. Oh, he fought over it with Florent. In fact, it was Roberts. And now the Swans can get it forward back through Roberts. He swings on that left boot. High ball. Great mark from Blakey. Looks like he's been sent forward. But so Logan McDonald, they just confirmed then it was an ankle injury, which I don't think anyone's fucking surprised. It wasn't a tactical sub. But Nick Blakey takes the mark. So to get the first goal of the final quarter, Nick Blakey runs a bit of an arc, kicks it towards goal, and he's hooked it to the right. Well, I think most people were seeing this is going to be a close game, and Sydney just haven't shown up after quarter time. So short ball now to Payne in the back pocket. Ball spills now. Lloyd did well. Step past a couple of tacklers. Grundy, long handball at the back to Roberts. He's been okay. He goes right back towards centre half back. That kick to switch it to Cunningham. He goes short to Florent. So it's another grand final loss for a lot of these Swans players. He cuts the kick inside. Nice looking kick. He finds Fox, who just goes back out. Lloyd stepped one way, then had to cut back onto his left boot. Sends it long inside the forward 50. Brisbane have a 3-on-1. They can raffle it. Ashcroft could take every Swans player at the moment. He's been brilliant today. He's close for a Norm Smith. He's close. I don't know if he's got it. Archie has been amazing today as well. So Wilmot over the top. Finds Ashcroft. Speaking of the man. Goes back to Wilmot. And he just drills it in short to Payne. So Brisbane, they'll just be loving every minute of this. Zorko takes the mark. Obviously been such a great clubman for so many years. He was there in the dark ages before Chris Fagan joined the club. He'll be probably enjoying this the most out of any of the Brisbane Lions players right now. Great little play here out on the wing. Nice looking ball. Got fisted away from Leicester by Hayward. Blakey went in with a tackle on Starskovic. They work it well here, Brisbane. They can get it inside the forward 50 through Bailey. High up and under ball. Lohman is there, fisted away by Roberts. Stays in bounds momentarily. Roberts to Rowbottom, dribbling ball outside. Finds a good number here. And now the Swans can go on the outer side. On the MCC side through Campbell. Doesn't have a lot of options. Drills a low ball towards the one-on-one. Papley up against Andrews. Andrews did well. Kept him corralled on the wing and out of bounds. If Ashcroft wins, we have 2 pretty young Norm Smiths in a row. Yeah. I wouldn't say fire John Longmire. I don't think it's him. I don't think it's just him. It's not. I mean, I know everyone puts it on the coach, but there's so many of the same players out here who have lost these grand finals. They clearly don't. It's a whole coaching panel. It's the whole coaching panel. It's the whole club right now. They're getting fucking destroyed. You can't put it just on John Longmire. And I mean, I think the next coach would be Dean Cox, yeah, but who knows at this point. It has to be talked about, though. They have to go off in the summer, the Swans, and seriously talk about it and not just continue to bury their heads in the sand. Because one, yeah, I get it. Two, yeah, that's tough. It was a tough loss against the Bulldogs. And then 2022, I know a lot of people would sit there and say, oh, well, they were the oldest team. Sydney just went up for it because they were so young at the time. They were the best team for a lot of this year, the Swans. They should have been coming into this game as favourites, and people questioned them rightfully. So at the stoppage, free kick's going to go to Darcy Ford. He's been brilliant. There may not be enough guidance in the big moments. Yeah. The problem isn't getting Sydney to the grand final. It's playing in a grand final, and this has been poor. Very, very poor. Like against Geelong in 2022, I was very sad, of course. But this is a more demoralising loss right now because Sydney, like I said, were pretty much the best team of the whole season. They had a good game plan. Their pressure game was good. But the problem is a kick mark game shouldn't work in a grand final. And Brisbane have been let to do this all day. Kick mark, kick mark. They've had what? How many kick marks have they had already now? Sorry, how many marks have they had? They have had... Where the fuck's it? 132 marks. The 2024 average for Brisbane is 108. That doesn't say the AFL average, but it's nowhere near 132. They've just been able to willfully cut through Sydney, and Sydney have not stopped them in this whole game. So Jared Berry has the footy here, just outside the forward 50. And he just sends it up towards the pocket for Loman, and then Kalachi! What a brilliant mark. I think we may be looking at the Norm Smith medalist here, Kalachi. Can you believe this guy was playing at the Gold Coast Suns only a few years ago? Went to the crosstown rivals in the Brisbane Lions. Not many people would have seen that trade or that move as a big deal. But right now, he has basically been the best player in the comp in the last few weeks. Sorry, not the best, the most important. And right now, to kick his fifth goal, tucked up in the pocket, you wouldn't count him out. He's hooked it across the face. All that big build-up and he missed it. Fuck you. Fuck you, Cal. So down the wing it goes. Good tackle there from McInerney. Slammed him into the turf. The ball up. Players. Hugh McCluggage just grabbing at his knee because they play incredible. But their older players often don't hold the crazy bar. And the young explosive City Swans players don't have the best standards and let their other players down. Yeah, well, I mean, in a grand final, you need a lot of things to go right. And you need a lot of players, your role players playing their roles. And Sydney, even in this final series, I know Port Adelaide was a pretty easy walkover, let's be honest. But in that Giants game, it was Isaac Heaney who dragged Sydney over the line. And Sydney got to stop... When you win a grand final, I think back to 2012, Brisbane, Hawthorn were heavy favourites in that game. But the reason why the Swans won it was because they brought all the tackle pressure and whatever. But if you look at it at a more broader scale, Sydney, all their team were playing their roles. You think of players obviously Kieran Jack's a great player and was a great captain for Sydney. But at the time, he was a great midfielder. I think he kicked 2 or 3 goals in that game, was brilliant. You think of Mitch Morton, for fuck's sake. He was a player who came in a couple of weeks into the, I think after the first final, McGlynn got injured. He came in, played his role for Sydney, was great. Yeah. So Isaac Heaney's currently head in hands on the boundary. I mean, look, he's had a great year, Isaac Heaney. I'm not counting him out for a bad performance in this grand final, but, it's not just... I mean, I feel sorry for him, but you feel sorry for the Swans players. I'm not saying they... you feel bad for him. But at the end of the day, this is another dreadful grand final. Yeah. So Kai Lohman tackles well, just outside the forward 50. Like, Brodie Grundy, like, Sydney brought in some players in this in the off-season last year to get them to this stage. That's good, and they've performed quite well. But Grundy today, all he had to do, like, sorry, not what all he had to do, but he has had a guy who's played VFL the whole year, and Darcy Fort has been very good. Like, I wouldn't say he's been brilliant. He's not going for the Norm Smith or anything, but he's played his role. Look at Brisbane's players. Like, if you look at them, like, you obviously have the star factor of Will Ashcroft. He's been brilliant. Lachie Neale obviously been great. But players like Archie. Now, I know he's had a good final series, but I don't think many people would have expected him to have a 4-goal performance. He's played his role. He has been really good. Jared Berry doesn't get talked about enough. He's played his role. Brendan Starskovic, happily kicked that early goal, has been unsighted since. He's been brilliant. Ryan Lester, like, been amazing. Like, you know, you think of the Brisbane Stars, Joe Danaher, Charlie Cameron, McCluggage, Zorko, you know, you think of all those players, and they've had good moments today, but it's a whole team performance from Brisbane. They have been amazing. Cal Archie, you know, he'd get, I mean, like, at the moment, obviously, he'd get a game at any other club, but he is playing a role as a great forward, a small forward. He's not playing that, like, no one would even know his name, like, before this final series at all. And not many people would have known him at all. Like, even now, I bet you there'd be so many people out there who wouldn't even know who number 4 for Brisbane is. But this guy has played brilliantly today. Jared Berry, another great role player. Starskovic and Lester. No one knows who they are before this final series, or really at all. But they have played their role. They have been brilliant. And I'm not taking anything away from them. They are great players. And if you know footy, you know these players. But if you don't really know much about them, like, people know who Isaac Heaney is, even though they don't watch the footy, you know, or don't watch it very often. People know who Grundy is. People know who Goulden is. Chad Warner as well. But you can't rely on star factor to win you a premiership. And that's what Sydney have relied on in this final series, and why I think a lot of people were pretty nervous on Sydney going into this grand final. Because they've relied on star factor. They have not relied on a, you know, they have not played a good real system in this, in, you know, the last couple of finals games, really. I mean, we smashed Port Adelaide. Who really gives a fuck? Port Adelaide gets smashed in every final series. Parker just kicked the goal. Good finish. Sorry, I'm just rambling, by the way, about this, but let's be honest. You know this game's done. Do you really want me to call this? Maybe I will. I will. Don't worry. I won't fit it in like this, but Adams can never play finals. Yeah, well, maybe he was needed today to play a bit of rough footy because their midfield has been smashed. Like, let's have a look. What do we got? I mean, look, McDonald probably should have been left out. I get that, but like, there was question marks about him going into this game. I thought, to be honest with you, Sydney should have brought in Cleary for him. I know that's a big call for a young guy, but I thought in the games that he's played this year, Caden Cleary, especially those last couple of games at the end of the season before Papley came back, I thought he brought something to Sydney's forward line that only Tom Papley could really bring. And I think that brings something to a grand final. Now, I know he's only played 3 games, but if Logan McDonald had some injury doubt, which he did, we should have brought him in. And again, like, Brisbane have been immense today. You can't rely on a third gamer to change this game for them. But they would have been a lot better than what the Swans have provided today. So Chad Warner goes long, and he's kicked another one for Sydney. So that brings it to 61 points. Oh, brilliant. Sydney don't have pressure forward speaks levels. Yeah, I mean, Papley's probably their best pressure forward, but they don't have enough of them. Like, I think that's at the start of the year when I thought about Sydney's forward line. Papley's been brilliant when he came back into the team in this final series. I think he's been really good, but they don't have a lot of, like, Brisbane again. Like, you think of Brisbane, like, you know, they're the premiers right now. Lohman, Cameron, and Cameron hasn't really had a very good season, like, let's be honest, but they've had Lohman, who's been really good, Cameron, you know, as well, Archie, not really much a pressure forward, but he's good with the tackler, you know, he always brings the ball to ground when he's there, and great role player as well. I'm forgetting someone here, I'm forgetting, I'm not counting Rayner really because Rayner's not really he's not really a pressure forward, but he's very good. I agree with that. Yeah, exactly. Like the Swans now, oh, well done. They fucking kicked 2 goals. Watch, they'll probably kick a couple more as well and bring the margin back under 50 points. Who gives a shit? They were smashed. So Papley drives it inside the forward 50, getting in front there. Couldn't mark there was McInerney. Marty fed it through, gets it through to Neil. He handballs back here for Fletcher. Pressure from Jordan. Ball spills out. Like the last 2 goals, one's from Parker, very good goal, but then that other one from Warner, brilliant goal again. But no one gives a shit. Like you can get goals now. And I know the Swans players, like whatever, they're not just going to let this game go to 100 points. I thought maybe at one point they would, but you know Brisbane has dropped off so much. But obviously, who cares? So Logan Morris has been subbed out. Connor McKenna will play the last 10 minutes of the grand final. Obviously, last year was real instrumental in their final series. Has been a little bit on the outer this year. Played as a sub a lot, but you know he's going to get himself a premiership medallion. Did retire at one point. Went back to Ireland. Wanted to come back to the footy. Came off to the Brisbane Lions, and well, maybe that's what players need to do now: retire from Essendon and just join another club because there's more of a premiership chance there. Little kick over the top. Nice find to Rayner. Like, you think of Brisbane, and they obviously have a lot of star players, but their role players have been really good today as well. And they've been good this whole final series. So Cam Rayner, he's had 12 touches today, kicked a goal. Probably hasn't been his biggest day. What a couple of moments he's had. Took a massive mark earlier. He'll drive this one from just outside the forward 50, and Hayden McLean takes that mark just outside of the goal square. So McLean's going to get given 50 here. Yeah, you're right. Sydney needed. I wouldn't. If I was them, I'd be looking at Matt Owies. He's one who's going to leave. So, well, he's told him to look at his options. I'd fucking look at him. I don't think look. I mean, I think 3 key forwards can work, but I think it's a lot better if you have 2 key forwards, and then so Sydney, for example, would have to be 2 keys, and then Will Hayward's that other one, and then you go with 2 pressure forwards. Great mark from Kyle Lohmann. Been a bit quieter in the last 30 or 40 minutes, but just comes on the big moment here, Kyle Lohmann. So Kyle Lohmann pretty much started this for the Brisbane Lions. He's kicked 3 goals today. So at this point, the Brisbane Lions know they will be the 2024 premiers. Just to add that cherry on top, Kyle Lohmann drills it! So that almost hit Lohmann in the face. Hit him in the chest, but then his hands blocked it from going out. So a couple of the Brisbane players right now who have missed out on this grand final are just going in, down to the rooms probably, then come out and celebrate with their teammates. Grundy takes this one out of the ruck, gets it on the boot towards half forward. Papley's there, beats Starskovic, gets out the back. Now Tom Papley drives it towards goal, hooked it to the left-hand side. So Dunkley now has it at halfback.
So now he goes long with the kick. Danaher's in front. Ball kicked out the back for Fox. Handball back to Melican. Immediately wrapped up by Lohman. He stood up somehow there, Melican, but now called for a ball up. Brisbane players, of course, excited on the bench. They know they've won this one. From 5th on the ladder, they have won the 2024 Premiership, the Brisbane Lions. But I don't think that says the story. The Brisbane Lions, from the start of basically after the bye, they have been brilliant. They never gave up on this season. McClugger and Berry, etc. So many role players versus just Hayward. Yeah. McCluggage sends it inside the forward 50. Cameron's there. Good spoil there from Cunningham, but it runs out of bounds. So Justin Longmire, John Longmire, so many question marks now going into next year. There'll be so many question marks on his legacy as a coach. Still won in 2012, but right now has lost his last 4 grand finals. Goulden slams it on the boot down the wing. Andrews got a spoil onto it. Leicester did well, locked up by Roberts, ball up. So 5:26 left in the 2024 season. It's been one like no other, but Brisbane right now are going to be the premiers of this wonderful season. Can you believe this team was 44 points down 2 weeks ago, and now they're going to be the 2024 premiers? They never gave up on this season. As their motto has been, I think, for most of the year, when your back's against the wall, dance. And right now, they're dancing on the grave of the Sydney Swans. Ball spills now to Berry. McCluggage about to get shut down. Got a kick away straight into the midriff of Grundy. He stood around, got the handball away to Papley. He sends it up and under towards a Marty. Good mark. Wants to give off the handball. Doesn't really have an option. Blakey got a handball away to Warner. He runs away. He's got one option inside the forward 50. He decides to just dribble it towards the boundary line, and it's going to run out. This should be called insufficient intent against Warner. Lee Matthews just making his way to the bench. He'll be loving every moment of this. Was obviously the last premiership coach for the Brisbane Lions. Yeah, pure grit's going to win your premierships, not star factor. And that's the one thing that Sydney have had, even in 2012 when they did win it. It was grit and determination. It wasn't just pure star factor. So Fletcher gets the kick down the wing. Lohman couldn't mark. Lands to Florent. Great tackle from Lohman. He hasn't stopped all day. Still 4 minutes and 13 seconds. The Brisbane Lions players on the bench wanting to get back onto the field and just relish every last moment they'll have on the MCG turf this year. From the tap down, Grundy gets it to Goulden. He sends it inside the forward 50. McLean is there, fisted away by Payne. Papley went to ground. Starskovich bodylined it. Did well there, Fox, to gather the footy. Handball over the top to Parker. From 50, sends it long. He's got 2. Well, Parker, he kicked a couple of goals in this last quarter. There's not much he could have done, to be honest. I think they should have chucked him in the midfield a lot early. It should have happened midway through the second term when Brisbane was starting to get on top. So I think that is a bit on John Longmire as well. He doesn't, 100,000 at the MCG. Just over 100,000. That's amazing. But I think that's the thing as well, what John Longmire falls into the trap of in a grand final. He gets, I wouldn't say it's stubbornness, but the point is, Sydney were getting smashed midway through that second term, and then he waited to halftime to make those changes. He easily could have called out the runner and told Parker, get in the middle, take off Logan McDonald. He clearly wasn't fit. Take him off straight away for Campbell, and then maybe
something could have changed at that point. But to wait until half-time, the game was done. It was 46 points, game over. Still 3.5 minutes left in this one. So the Lions now have it on the wing. Drives it long towards the one-on-one Archie up against McCartan. Ball spills now. Rowbottom's been okay. Gave it through to Roberts. Inside give to Parker. Takes the contact from Neil. Got a kick away. Straight inside to Wilmot. Wasn't paid the 15. He gets the kick towards the 50. Did well there. 2-on-1 there. McKenna to bring it to ground. Handball to McCluggage. Gets it inside. Spills out. Brisbane numbers everywhere. Cunningham did okay. But now McKenna tried to break the tackle. Got a kick forward. Only went about 5 metres to McCluggage. He fends off one. Good tackle. Ricochets finds Florent. He wants to go wide with the kick. Good kick in the end. Towards the one-on-one. Berry up against Grundy. Grundy just can't get there. Dunkley tackled him. Got tackled well. To be honest, from the start, I wanted Brisbane to win. That's fair enough, man. I get it. Chris Fagan, he's just holding back a wry smile. You can see it from the start of the season. I was rooting for the Lions to win aside from Collingwood. Yeah, I mean, they were heartbroken last year. It's been a great story of the Lions, especially from how poorly they started. I think they were 2-7 at one point. To have got to where they are now, that's absolutely amazing. So now McLean works it wide. Good kick in the end. Hits up Jordan. Works the kick inside. Finds McInerney. Kyle Lohman just getting a bunch of hugs and kisses from everyone there. Works the kick back inside, and a chance if the Swans to get another. Great finish. Luke Parker's got 3. Late chance for the Norm Smith, maybe. So what? It's 54 points. You wouldn't. I mean, that's a big loss in a grand final, obviously. But this could have been a much more. But who cares? Brisbane. It doesn't matter how much you win a grand final by, does it? You don't get percentage points for it. So that's what all Brisbane have had to do. They just had to win this game, and they put. I mean, I wouldn't say they put the Q in the rack in the last quarter, but they haven't had to do anything. So Sydney even catching back a little bit doesn't mean shit. So Brisbane Lions players just celebrating on the bench. 2 minutes to go, and then the Brisbane Lions can celebrate. At this point, I've obviously gone through the 5 stages of grief, guys. Denial that the game's over. What are the 5 stages of grief? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. It's raining here in Adelaide. Like the Swan season's been finished. Florent, why would they chuck him into the middle now? Well, see, I mean, I don't get these sort of changes chucking these players around now. There's no point. Rayner broke one tackle, got a handball away to Ashcroft. He stepped past a few players in traffic. And now Joey D, he gets on his left boot and snaps through the finisher. And he gets on the celebration trail as well, Joey Danaher. Doesn't do it very often, but he knows this premiership has been won. And they all get around Joey Danaher. Maybe a little bit of a message in that. Could be his final game of his illustrious career. But he's going to end it as a premiership player if he does today. Yeah, I think Cameron got one early, didn't he? Yeah, he's got one. Neil Danaher's actually in the stands today, wearing a Brisbane scarf, of course. Great to see. So many Brisbane greats and parents as well out there celebrating with their sons, and it's great to see. So umpire throws it back up. Tap down. Grundy gets the clearance towards the 50, marked well by Harris Andrews. Captain Harris Andrews, a premiership captain. Zorko works it out wide to Dunkley. Minute 15 left. Haven't they got one more in them, Brisbane? Or they may just let the clock run down. Soak up every single last moment here, the Brisbane Lions. Dane Zorko has the footy. Massive cheers around the ground. Like I said a little bit earlier, he was there in the dark days, Dane Zorko, and now he gets to celebrate on the MCG turf as a premiership hero. In the back pocket, Ryan Lester. Wasn't in the team a couple of years ago. Such an important player to this season. Players are celebrating on the ground right now. 30 seconds left. Long down the wing, 2-on-1 here in the Swans' favour. Goulden won it down. Florent out the side. They can work it through Goulden now. He sends it inside the forward 50 towards the 1-on-1. It hits the turf. Did okay. Blakey threads through the handball. Now Campbell tucked up in the pocket. Kicks it across the face. Will it run out of bounds? I hope it doesn't. I hope the just game finishes here. But here we go. You've heard of the Lion King movie before. But now, it's the Lions are kings of the AFL. What a premiership dynasty this club could come into. But right now, the Brisbane Lions have broken the heartbreak of last year and now can celebrate as victors of the AFL. So many stories from this great side. You got Chris Fagan, heartbroken last year, now a premiership coach. Brought them out of the dark ages. There were so many question marks about the football club and if they could recover. And now Chris Fagan in tears on the boundary line, hugging the former premiership coach of the Brisbane Lions in Lee Matthews. Oscar McInerney, so much celebration around him. He looks like he's won the premiership, and that's great to see from a great clubman. Celebrating with Darcy Fort, both of them. Such great clubmen. And Darcy Fort, what a story he is as well. So many great storylines. Joe Danaher, will he go on next year? Who cares right now? What a player he has been for Brisbane since coming from Essendon. Harris Andrews, a premiership captain. Brilliant performance from him. Brilliant season from him as well. The young Brisbane Lions as well. Logan Morris you think of. Kyle Lohman. So many great stories for the young Brisbane Lions. Lachie Neale as well, a premiership player, a dual Brownlow medalist. What a brilliant performance from him today. He moved from Fremantle. Let's talk about him potentially moving at one point. But now, more than happy to have stayed at the Brisbane Lions. 3 votes, Patrick Cripps? I think so. 34 touches from Lachie Neale today. 88% efficiency. That's just brilliant to see. Ryan Lester as well. You think of the defenders, Ryan Lester, Brendan Starskovic. You know, not really known around the country in most households, but those guys between the 4 walls of the Brisbane Lions would be some of the most favoured teammates you would imagine. Stuart Dew on the boundary line as well as an assistant coach for the Brisbane Lions. Well, he was never going to get a premiership at the Gold Coast. They kicked him out for Damien Hardwick, and right now he's celebrating a premiership as an assistant. Think of that as well. He was an assistant at the Sydney Swans when they won in 2012. You can think about the Swans. They were the premiership. They were, favourites for a lot of this year. Were the best team for a lot of this year. A lot of heartbreak for them. Another grand final loss. That's 4 now. But let's be honest, it's all about Brisbane. So many great stories. What a premiership team this has been. From 2-7 at round 10, I believe, in 13th spot after the bye, to the premiers of the AFL. What a season we have seen in 2024. And the Brisbane Lions, well, they're kings of it. Give him a medal. I think Chris Fagan or someone will give it to him. Maybe even Darcy Fort. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if someone he won't keep the medal, but I think they'll do very similar to what Bobby Murphy got in 2016. Dane Zorko probably. Obviously he's been the guy who wasn't there a couple of years ago, who's been there from the outset, really. And Chris Fagan, of course, has been questioned for a lot of his coaching career. Can he get them to the grand final? He eventually did last year. Then, can he get them to a premiership? He has. And he's like a father figure to so many Brisbane Lions players. And right now, they've done it for him as well. The John Longmire just embracing Chris Fagan there. They should give all first team list players a medal. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be too disappointed if they gave emergencies premiership medallions as well. If you think about it that way, because then you could put a potential player like Oscar McInerney as an emergency or something. It's so good to see Oscar McInerney out there. Like, a lot of premiership teams, when they do have injured players come on, they look a bit sad. And I understand that, obviously. You missed out on a grand final. But Oscar McInerney standing around, he's high-fiving all of them. He's celebrating like he won the premiership. And that's so good to see. And, Brisbane, they have a couple of core players as well, the Brisbane Lions. Who knows? They could definitely return to this stage next year. And Oscar McInerney could just be there. But guys, I think that's where we're going to end the stream, of course. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this year. I don't know how many more live streams we'll have this year, but thank you for joining the journey of this channel. I've appreciated so much support. I think we're about 200 300 subscribers at the start of the season, and now we're at over 2,000. So I thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys' support. And look, I know the Swans have lost today. I'm sorry I've been a little bit down, but I'm super happy with Brisbane Lions being the premiers. I said that in the tips. Whoever wins are worthy winners, and I don't think Brisbane have snatched this by any means. I think they've been a great club all year. I think I even said it before the final series. I said that if Brisbane can just start the kick straight, they can still be a premiership chance. And I don't want to say that I'm clairvoyant and I can read the future, guys, but maybe I can. But what a win by Brisbane. The Brisbane Lions are your 2024 AFL premiers, and what worthy winners they are. But guys, that will be the end of the stream now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. The review will be out tomorrow, so make sure to check out for that. But yeah,